Hello guys and welcome to a history of Overwatch. We're ahead of schedule and that is for a good reason. If you guys are watching this, I'm uploading this for tomorrow morning. So you guys are watching this, the Overwatch 2 beta just dropped probably. I know it's obviously not great timing for when it dropped, but hey, if you missed out and you weren't able to see it, you can check this out. If you are watching it now as well, quick reminder that there is drops on the 27th of April. So if that has not happened yet, you should come in, watch my stream, my Twitch stream, or any other person who's involved. There's a big list of it to get your drops for the Overwatch 2 beta. It is a long thing. I'm not going to go in depth about that, but just putting it on your radar. If you haven't heard about it, drops are happening on the April 27th. So make sure to check that out. So today's history of Overwatch, though, we're going to be going forward into the June Joust, or the June tournament, as we like to call it, and we're going to watch the Shanghai Dragons taking on the Dallas Fuel once again. So this was obviously a banger of a match. It goes to 7. There wasn't too much to change to the June Joust. What were the hero pools? Oh, we have it here. Tracer, Sombra, Reinhardt, Zenyatta were the hero pools for June Joust. They only did the hero pools like twice throughout the season. This was one of the few that happened. These hero pools were cool because it sort of changed up. Like, you couldn't play Brawl without the Reinhardt. You couldn't play the Zenyatta Brig stuff that was starting to become Tracer dominant, and Tracer Sombra was gone. The negatives of the hero pools that happened is a pretty predominant meta ended up coming out through the June Joust, which was this like Winston Diva, Echo. Who was the second DPS chat? Echo Reaper? Yeah, Echo Reaper, Lucio Moira composition ended up becoming heavily meta, and it got coined the zombie composition because it's kind of like goats in a way that nothing ever dies. You run together as a 6-man unit, you just players, and you just run at people. Dallas Fuel were the best at this composition, with Fearless running rampant, honestly, on the Winston, just showing how good he is as a player. But obviously everything else around that as well, Dallas Fuel are very strong. This grand finals match was actually super interesting because the Shanghai Dragons ended up breaking the mold, playing the Wrecking Ball. But the things you should know going into it: Echo is dumb broken. This was the time in which Echoes would just copy Divas off cooldown, and they would get like 2 bombs per copy. And then you also have the regular Diva throwing bombs. So there is just like nerf this being yelled by Divas consistently over and over and over. And we'll see that in this match. Let's talk about some of the other teams and sort of what happened in the June Joust. We had the Atlanta Reign actually having a really strong performance in the June Joust, really beginning their, I guess, solidifying themselves as like a top 2, top 3 team in NA. They were just really, any sort of like comp where you play 6-man together and just run at people, that was really Atlanta Reign's strength. So they beat the San Francisco Shock, knocked them out of making it to Hawaii. So Dallas Fuel and Atlanta Reign went to Hawaii. In the Eastern region, New York Excelsior actually qualified, and this was really the only time that we saw New York Excelsior really have a ton of success. And I don't want to discredit New York, but Hangzhou Spark should have been there. Hangzhou Spark was a much better team than the New York Excelsior, but Hangzhou Spark in true fashion, just, I don't know. They played some of the weirdest shit I've ever seen in this June Joust, in that qualifier match to make it to Hawaii, or like to come to that Final Four. They just dropped the spaghetti, and New York were not good enough to be at this Hawaii match. They ended up getting 3-0'd by the Atlanta Reign and 3-0'd by the Shanghai Dragons. So yeah, Shy did not fuck, which was a problem. When anyone else on the Spark team needed to step up, they just didn't. Dallas Fuel and Shanghai Dragons showed that they were, stronger than the Atlanta Reign, winning 3-1 and 3-0, and that's what led us to this finals match. It's a long match. We're just going to jump into it. It's a long match. It's a weird match. There's not a whole lot of diversity, so we're probably going to fly through it, but it was a great match to begin with. This really sort of began the Shanghai Dragons' dominance. Once the Shanghai Dragons won this match, they didn't really look beatable, right? Like, this was the last time Shanghai Dragons really looked beatable. Obviously, in the Countdown Cup, they didn't make it to the Final Four, but I think everyone can agree the Shanghai Dragons didn't really want to be in that Final Four. They didn't want to play the hero pools. They didn't want to learn a new meta. They just kind of... We're kind of good with giving this one a miss. So, it's kind of interesting to see how Fate made Wrecking Ball work, and how this was the beginning of the Fate Wrecking Ball dominance, and Dallas Fuel just didn't really have an answer to it. Yeah, this is where Shanghai forced Dallas onto their comp, exactly. There's a moment here where Fearless will switch to Wrecking Ball, and that's kind of like the beginning of the end for Dallas, because that's when they stop playing their Winston style, their comp that they, you know, were really good at, and switched to Wrecking Ball because they didn't have a counter to Fate playing Wrecking Ball. Ooh. The Fleta vs Sparkle Echo v Echo battle is actually bonkers in this match, but Fleta's Echo is just so good.
Wobble, wobble, motherfucker.
But this is essentially the composition. As we said, the Reaper Echo, the Lucio Moira. But yeah, Shanghai came in wanting to play the Wrecking Ball, while Fearless wanted to play the Winston. And there are strengths to both of them. The Wrecking Ball is very hard to kill in this composition because there's not enough. There's no Discord orb. People aren't playing Brig to CC the ball. So the ball essentially has pure freedom to just roll around the map, get slams, all that kind of stuff, and just get so much value. But obviously, Winston's very strong as well. Cam left side. Oh, good shout. Thank you. Zia, thank you very much for the Prime sub. Overzealous, thank you for the Prime sub as well. Title. Oh my god, you guys are keeping me honest. Thank you.
And even though the Dragons have that coalescence to be able to recontest with, theirs is a reactive composition. Fate is trying to punish the fuel when they attack. Shanghai's comp is not as good.
I also have a cat rolling over my keyboard.
Playing aggressively, playing fast-paced.
Nice boop coming off onto the side. The mines are going to be really just kind of joined up there to the corner of the point. Doa comes through with the Death Blossom just to try and lock them up. But everyone's going to be avoiding it for the most part. Jex are going down to the mines.
All right.
Supercharger. Well, sorry,
done.
I should say the sound barrier.
What happened? Okay, Lip killed everyone. Not the first thing that I expected. Reaper Monday.
Just need to clear off a couple of these.
Was this the tournament that people... This wasn't the tournament where people played a ton of Symmetra, right? No one really played Symmetra in this tournament. Do you remember at some point in 2021, hey Bo, everyone played Symmetra and everyone was like, Symmetra needs a nerf. Was that just NA? Is that Symmetra not NA? Oh yeah, Bo's attacking me in the face. So yeah, at this point, everyone really decided switching to D.Va was the best thing. As you see, we got 2 copy D.Vas. Nerf this!
Sandbar now comes through and Dallas fully realize they got it for free. Fate going down to the bomb. It's opened things up tremendously for them. Sparkle now back into the
Dallas getting the advantage on this.
Putting in the try shots. Beam damage is really inconsequential.
Does Lee Jae-gon go nuts? I don't think that was in this match. I think Lee Jae-gon went sicko in a regular season match, or maybe just an East region match. That wasn't in the playoffs. Soul in the semis, yeah.
You don't, and plus, Fearless will actually have a primal rage before this fight begins. Fearless's primals have been very good at denying pushes.
But that was a crazy performance. That was like one of the best Lucio performances that we ever saw in Overwatch 1.
Going for a really fast engage. He's got this Death Blossom to work with.
Die, die, die. Yeah, I think these are my least favorite comps to watch from Overwatch 1. Wow, how does Doa not die in that Death Blossom? Like these like Reaper, Lucio, Moira comps, I think are my least favorite to watch. It's like when we watched that double shield version of it in the 2020 playoffs. It's worse than Goats, yeah. I feel like it has less skill and it's more just ramming your head into the opposition, right? If this match was not so close and so good, we would not watch this. Just purely out of spite of the meta. But this match is just such a good one. Oh, Sparkle, dude. It always surprises me how good these guys are at Echo. The amount of damage that they managed to get out is just crazy. Dallas was just like, I feel like there were certain points where the Winston was just better than the Wrecking Ball. I feel like whenever it's like really narrow points, the Winston outvalues the Wrecking Ball. But as soon as you start getting open and the Wrecking Ball can like move around in your backline effectively, I think it gets much better for the Wrecking Ball. Why doesn't this comp work with Ryan? So just reminder there, it's hero pools. So it's like Reinhardt, Zenyatta, Tracer, Sombra are all banned out of hero pools here.
Wrecking Ball composition, it is fairly good once you get control of the point and you can...
Fate isn't comfortable with Hammond? No, Fate's really comfortable with Hammond. Fate's Wrecking Ball is really the person who popularized it. If anything, I would say Fate's Winston is his weakness, and that's one of the reasons they don't mirror Dallas Fuel in this comp. Fearless is way more comfortable on the Winston, and Fate is more comfortable on the Wrecking Ball. And that's what makes this series so interesting, is that they both just play to their comfort. And I don't know if there is a right answer. Oh, wow, Izzyaki just dies. That is not okay. You can't just die like that. Trying to find the perfect sound for them. I mean Winston, yeah. Fate wasn't super comfortable on Winston. Like, Fate's still a great Winston, but he's not fearless, you know? He's not a fearless or a smurf, you know? When we watched the May Melee, if you watched the May Melee VOD that we reviewed from the May Melee finals, Fate's Winston really struggles. And who knows if that's just Fate or the way that the Dragons play around it. But when they allow Fate to just have that freedom to move around on the Wrecking Ball, he's really good at it. How does the Echo get a lot of support? But the Echo just plays in the Death Ball for the most part. The difference about it is that there's not many people who like shoot the Echo out of the air. Like, it really comes down to the Diva to hold the Echo accountable. But if you try it, like, it's a dangerous proposition for a Diva to fly at an Echo.
And here it comes.
Yeah, Coalescence is going to be led into the backline. Lijiang just about escaping.
Oh, yeah, not that time.
He tried to zip back
Echo v Echo, yeah. Like, in an Echo v Echo, it's like, if no one has, like, if there's, because it's Reaper Echo, neither DPS really deal with the Echo other than an Echo, right? In which you end up in a head-to-head duel, which is what makes this, you know, the Sparkle Flutter matchup even cooler.
The advantage is going to be swinging towards Shanghai.
Feels like Echo's just a better Pharah in every way. She really is. Like, Echo, I think Echo doesn't put out as much consistent damage, but she puts out more pointed damage, right? And she has the ability to execute characters, which is one of Pharah's biggest weakness, right? Is that she can do a ton of damage, but she can't kill anyone, especially tanks, while Echo murders tanks. Oh, yeah, that was a good Diva Bomb into the room. And Sparkle remeked on his Yaki. Bro. I think the remake damage, because this is the remake damage is in the character, is in at this point, and I think that really made the Diva copy even stronger, right? Because as an Echo, it doesn't matter if you risk it all to run at someone on Baby Diva, because the worst thing that happens is you get killed and then you just turn back into Echo. At that point, you've already thrown your Diva Bomb, you've got the most value out of the copy. And those are things that you can't do as a Baby Diva in not Echo form. Remake does damage, by the way, yeah. It's so hard to tell what's going on. I really hope Overwatch 2, we never really see this level of, like, visual clutter and, like, grouping up. Because it's just so hard to know what's happening. That was a good slam by Fate. That was a lot of ults, yeah. What was that? Diva Bomb beat Cole. But I guess Dallas used everything as well. That was Diva Bomb beat and Cole as well. Sparkle's copy's gonna need to get Crazy Valley.
It certainly is difficult for Shanghai, but now at least Fate can have more impact.
Why would you watching the replays all the time rather than attending out a game reputation? Me? I work on the desk. I was working this event. We're going back in time during the off season. I'll be on the desk. You'll get to see my ugly mug throughout the entirety of the Overwatch League season. Don't worry about that.
Comboed in with some aggression from Void and Flutter there.
Yeah, Sparkle will be again assuming the form of the Diva.
I feel like Monkey's better on this map. I completely agree. I think it's the idea that I was talking about before. Oh, that was close. It was is what I was talking about before with, like, I think anywhere in which I think the Wrecking Ball struggles to get value. I feel like he just ends up like running around, but he can't be as much of a threat. Oh my god. And if Fearless is doing that on the Winston, then how do you justify it?
Using that Death Blossom will not be enough to turn the tide of this fight. And Flutter trying to get back.
The beat got used. Yeah. Did Lijiang on Ajax that? Oh, is Yaki off? Yeah, this is gonna be a Dallas first map.
And it will be the map win eventually.
Yeah, and that's it, right? Bronze sleeve. Fate just feeds less on the ball.
Fate on the Wrecking Ball gonna be able to touch this objective, but it feels inevitable at this point, Josh.
That's awesome, Dude Master. I'm glad you've been enjoying it. And I could fill you in. We're about to start, like, because it kind of feels like, the reason I really like this History of Overwatch League series that we've been doing is, like, it kind of feels like, you know, closing the book on history of, like, in Overwatch 1, right? Like, we're going into a completely new era for Overwatch 2. So it's been awesome to sort of, like, go back and remember these awesome matches. All right, let's go. Dallas Fuel takes the first map pretty convincingly with the Winston. I remember, if I remember correctly, at halftime of this match, I remember us coming in on the desk and being like, Fate's got to get off that Wrecking Ball. It's really not working. And then we ended up eating our words later on. But it's kind of interesting how that storyline evolved throughout this match.
And Fate has tried to
Did you see the Aspire tribute video? No, I haven't seen the Aspire one. Oh, you mean the Apply one?
The problem is that it just
Yeah.
doesn't seem to be working on
Yeah, the Apply did a really good video. We started watching it today, but you should check it out. If you go to Apply's Twitter, you can see it.
It is so
Did a really good job of summing up. I guess not as much the competitive side of it, but more like the streamers, all the cool, unique things that happen. It was a really good video.
When Atlanta Reign beat them on the opening control map, Dallas picked Volskaya. And when Shanghai picked Volskaya into them last time, it was not pretty. The Shanghai Dragons, they were not able to capture.
They're doubling down on it. On the defense.
Apparently, Pokemon is streaming Overwatch 2, which is weird because the average viewership is the same as their Overwatch category. Yeah, tomorrow, Overwatch hits rank 1. I'm calling it. Overwatch hits the #1 viewed streams on Twitch, which is cool. It's an exciting time. It's a fun and exciting time to be a part of Overwatch community.
Power driver. That's a wonderful setup right into the sticky bombs. A lot of that damage was ate up by their defense matrix.
And like, I think this is a map where Bull is better than the Winston, right? Like, Fate can just wait for them to walk through a choke. He can get a really good slam. He can exist behind them. It's just hard for Dallas Fuel to deal with him.
But they desperately want to find another pick before Fielder gets that coalescence. And Dallas Fuel, they're like a coiled spring, and now they explode.
Oh, they got way too aggressive. And this is what, like, let's watch this back. This is what makes Dallas one of the best teams. They lose a player. Shanghai Dragons goes too aggressive and they recognize it. Dallas Fuel does a great job of holding on and then peeling and then being like, all right, we can go. Fielder pops the coal and then Shanghai just has nowhere to go. And this is what made Dallas like the best Western and probably the best zombie comp team in the league. Obviously, like, Shanghai played a slightly different comp. But yeah, this is why Dallas just dominated the West. We survived the drought, yeah.
Shanghai might be able to recontest this one. I mean, they are running Fate on the Wrecking Ball, but it looks like they're not even going to be opting into that.
But think about, Brent, if they had taken it slow.
Wobble.
Yo, Argent Blade with another 10 gifted subs. Let's get some pogs up in chat again. Any Pagmans in chat? Much love, thank you for another 10 gifted subs. Congrats to those who got it. Oh, thank you very much, Argent Blade. I appreciate it. Imagine if Overwatch was popular. That would make... maybe everyone will stop making as much fun of us if we're popular. It feels like Overwatch is getting invited to the cool kids table, you know what I mean? At least temporarily for 2 weeks until people decide that we're not cool anymore. But we got to enjoy the 2 weeks while we have it. It's like an acorn. So when we go through another 2-year winter of not having content, we'll remember the good times.
Wobble, motherfucker.
Re-invited, that's true. That's true. We went through that awkward phase in high school. We went, you know, in high school where you go through that 2-year awkward phase and then you're finally cool again. You're like peaking again at the end. That's Overwatch. That's what we're going through. Dude, look at how many diva bombs and beats are going off. Just watch this again. Look at how ridiculous this is. This is what we need to get away from in Overwatch. Enjoy your subs. I may be dull, but at least hey, you're doing great, Argent Blade. We appreciate you. Nerf this! Coal! Mines! Nerf this! Monkey Primal! Nerf this! Nerf this!
It's going to slide right back down again, and it's going to push Shanghai away. The sound barrier does come off. This gives them a little bit of health.
I can't tell you what's happening. If you want analysis, I can't help you. Oh! That was a good... That Death Blossom was so good by Doha.
That is ridiculous.
He's so good with the timing.
Yeah, Doha just knows when to go, right?
After Void had already used
wobble, motherfucker.
Void is using his defense matrix.
The 300 HP copy is a very good change. It was a very smart change to deal with the problem, right? Like, I think it's a really smart solution to the problem because, like, you can't nerf Echo's, like, everything else around the Echo's copy because copying DPS isn't that oppressive. Same thing as copying supports. So by changing it to so that the Echo only has 300 HP, it's worth shooting the copy now. Because one of the biggest problems with Echo in this game, this match as a prime example, is when the Echo copies a diva, it is never worth trying to put 600 damage into an Echo copy. It just feels like wasted damage because she's going to get her ultimate anyway. So like, you just kind of have to ignore the diva. So I think it's a really smart change. Do you think Doha slept on one of the best in his role? Absolutely. Doha is like the silent carry. Every team needs a Doha. Where like Doha just sits on, just like helps the rest of his team dominate, but doesn't take enough of the credit. Yeah, like, I don't think there are many games where I've ever been like, other than like 2020 Fuel, where I'm like, Doha isn't having a good game. Like in 2021, Doha was just always solid. Sparkle gets all the credit, but Doha's just pounding. Oh my god, this is so much. Look at this off-angle Echo. He's at 50% ult charge already. Fate go, wait, so Dragons go Brigorissa here. Brigorissa Moira Torb. Not gonna lie, chat. I don't like it. I don't remember what happens here, but I don't think it's probably gonna be very good. Yeah, I think they played this with a BAP. I think it's just very, like, they don't have the damage. And they can't engage. It's kind of like they're playing like a super heavy counter dive. But I think if you'll get ultimate, like maybe if Lee Jae-gon gets rally, it'll be really good. Houston tried this? Oh, well, if Houston tried it, then it's a bad comp. In my experience, if Houston does something, do the opposite. At least in 2020 and 2021.
Or at least causing a bit of a demech there onto Handpit, but still no kills going their way. The Shanghai Dragons are going to be withstanding that kind of...
Scrimbucks, baby. Dude, I just can't wait until people like Houston are the best team in the league again, and then we can watch the Scrimbucks. Oh, another great death blossom by Doha. You're lucky Liz ain't here? Yeah, I'm just trolling. I'm trolling you. I'm actually really excited for Houston. I think Houston's top 5 NA for sure this season. I honestly think, you know, we've broken the Dallas Fuel cycle of misery. I think this is the season. Maybe I'm going to jinx them. This is the season that Houston breaks that as well, where Houston are consistently good. For sure, it has to be this season, right? This is the season they break it, right?
They'd rotated into a good position. They had rally still.
I'm not trolling. I'm not trolling. I actually think this is the best and most well-rounded Houston Outlaws comp that we're ever going to see. They're like, Shanghai, if they don't win with this comp, this feels like such a throw. Like, I think Dallas got too spicy there. Oh my god, please don't kill the Void. I think Dallas got a little too... They got Field of Coal. If they can go with the Field of Coal and Sparkle gets their copy, they can win. They did a really good job of peeling back. Like, think about how smart that was by Dallas. Like, so many other teams would have just failed. Like, this is what made Dallas feel so good during these times. They try and go aggressive, but they fuck it up. They went too early. Shanghai were ready. They disengage. But then somehow Dallas Fuel finds a way for their entire team to peel back. They get out the Bongo. They're going to get out the Torbolt soon. And like they just peel back and then they get another fight with the rest of their ultimates. Like most teams would have at least lost one player. Oh, and Flutter goes down.
Oh my god, absolutely brutalized. Doa just came from the back, presumably a TP to set that one up.
Yeah, I don't like the bunker on attack. Like, it feels like you're putting way too much of the fate of your team, like, being successful on Dallas Fuel fucking up. You know what I mean? And they touched before the tick? Oh, that's true. They didn't even give a tick. That's so brutal. The fate of your team, huh? No, I was not making a pun.
They have 40 seconds, though. They have 40 seconds in a coalescence.
What do you rank 2022 Atlanta? I think 2022 Atlanta is going to be good. I think they'll be... I think they're also in the argument for, like, top 5, top 6 NA. I think they're in the upper echelons. I don't think Atlanta can win the league. Maybe I'll be wrong, but I don't think Atlanta can win the league, but I think they'll... Like, I would put them in the same boat as, like, Houston at this point. Oh, they get Flutter as well. Wait, imagine being Flutter here. What's worse than one diva flying at you as a solo echo? 2 divas flying at you as a solo echo. Sparkle follows, and then fucking Hanbin goes after him. That's so toxic. It's like we're in 2016 again. That was a good bomb as well. Oh god, Izyaki's getting run down.
If you're a Shanghai Dragons fan watching this one, they've lost Fade in the process as well. Split up there by the
oh, Sparkle dead. Sparkle's dead for that. The Cole's nice. Lip needed to get a lot of value out of that Death Blossom, I'm pretty sure. Oh, there it is. Dude, this is what we were riding off Shanghai at this point. We're like, Shanghai's gonna lose. It's over.
Look at their faces. It just...
I miss Danny. I'm looking forward to this season. I'm looking forward to this season. Get the desk going in. Hey, boy. I know. I missed Danny too. All right, let's go. Where are we going? Numbani? Oh, shit. A little too far forward. Go out of the way. All right, so what do we got? Dallas Fuel is one drinking this comp to success. We're going to see Shanghai stick with the wrecking ball even further. Hey, buddy, I know I love you. Mwah.
You certainly do. Dallas not wasting
So much favor. It's a mind crunch.
We're sending in the shots as they're trying to take this top left approach, push away to Shanghai Dragons. Bait in a bit of an engagement would be quite nice as well, but Shanghai...
I think Winston is better on the first point, but I actually think Wrecking Ball is better on the second and third points in this setup. Is Fielder gonna get Cole? Honestly, this is kind of a race to see who gets Cole first. And it looks like it's gonna be Fielder. Oh, Doha dies though. If Doha doesn't die there, I think Dallas win this fight. Easy. Because they don't have the damage without Doha, I think. But now Shanghai Dragons, yeah, they just go with their own call. I don't think there's any way Dallas wins this, right? Moira dishonest hero, yeah.
That's an amazing play by Flair.
I like the thing that I'm excited for with Overwatch 2 as well with this Moira chain, like with one less tank, is I think Moira gets less effectiveness in this like this style of Moira I don't like. I like it when Moira plays like a aggressive in a dive, but when you're just like literally just peeing on all 5 of your teammates and just getting Cole in like 15 seconds, it just doesn't feel skillful, you know what I mean? Oh, and Fate used mines apparently? That seems like a weird play. Yeah, we talk about how good Fielder is. Well, Fielder is one of the best Moiras, and like as much as you can feel like it's a dishonest hero. I don't know where that Diva Bomb went. Nerf this. I don't know where that Diva Bomb went. And there's another Diva Bomb, and another Diva Bomb, and another. Okay. As much as we talk about how like Moira is a dishonest hero, she's like, it doesn't mean you can't be better at her, right? Like there is still a lot of players who were bad at Moira, or like didn't understand how to play Moira effectively, because it's like honestly the positioning and how you're using is like a big deal. Hey, McTravesty, thank you for the Prime sub.
But Shanghai came back into that engagement really nicely. Now, the ultimate economy is in favor of Dallas here. They have Doha's ultimate in order to...
Is Fielder still on the fuel? Fielder is still on the fuel.
No, he can't. What a teleport from Doha.
Dallas is going to be good again this year. I think Dallas is going to be very good. It'll be interesting to see how flexible they are. I think it really comes down to how good Edison and Gurio are. But I think Chio is just as good, if not better, than Jexay. So I think Dallas will be good. Dallas will definitely be a top-end NA contender again.
Track through the sky. And yeah, that's going to be it pretty much here for the Shanghai Dragons. Izzyaki will try and at least heal.
All right, Dallas finally get through.
Try and build up the coalescence, but
where's Fielder now? Still in Dallas Field.
As soon as you start believing, they take your hope and they crush it.
Leaks? What do you mean leaks? Thank you very much for money. Yeah, Dallas win. Yeah, Bandit. Dallas win. You don't need to watch the rest. If you're a Dallas Fuel fan, you can probably turn it off now and be sure that Dallas is going to win this.
And these Death Blossom timings have been phenomenal. Every single map he plays in, he's getting value. 1.7 average kills with Death Blossom is just crazy.
Oh, Fielder goes down. That very rarely happens. You see Fielder die first. Good. I think this second point is very good for Wrecking Ball. Like, I think Wrecking Ball is way better than Winston, especially if you're going to do this touch the spawn hold. Like, because the Wrecking Ball can just play on the high ground, play behind you, and you can't really deal with it. And then Fate gets to choose whenever he wants to go to be able to get a good slam.
It means that Shanghai or Dallas don't get rolling.
They definitely look better at following up on Fate's disruption with this composition compared to what they were running previously.
What does Bebe bring to the table for Dragons? You know what Molly brought to the table last year for the Shanghai Dragons? That's what Bebe brings. What he's gonna bring to the table is his ring size when he collects the ring. That's all he needs to bring. Just sit there, look pretty, and let everyone else do their thing.
Now the Shanghai Dragons still in control of this corner position. Wonderful work from them, however, now...
Nah, Bebe will come in if we ever end up in a hard double flex support meta and they think that Bebe can provide more than Lee Gun.
But it is quite difficult to get
I think Bebe will play. But from what we've seen of Overwatch 2 and what we've heard so far, double flex support is not meta at all because supports are struggling in Overwatch 2. Ooh! Like, look at how much value they get every time Fate slams. Like, they just can't get out of the spawn.
counter-attack.
And yeah, we're starting to see a bit of that pace now. It's an unusual look, I suppose, for the Dallas Fuel here. A team that's looking a little bit uncomfortable.
Is Reaper or Moira the worst hero to die first? Both of them are equally bad. Like, you really need the consistent damage of Reaper in these fights. But I think Moira is worse. Like, if you don't have Moira, you just lose all sustain. Like, you have no healing. Lucio just does not provide enough healing in these comps. Oh, Lip. Is Lip gonna pop it? No, Lip doesn't have it. That was a good play by... Like, Dallas Fuel are like a hive mind. Both them and Shanghai are, honestly. They're just like a hive mind. They know exactly what to do. Did you see that coordination on shutting down Lip? As soon as Lip used that... Dude, why am I forgetting? As soon as he used his shift, they just followed him. And then as soon as Lip came out, he was dead. What's Reaper's shift called?
Oh, definitely. They have
I want to say Fade, but that's the Moira one. Shadow... Wraith Walk.
We're gonna have to see another incredible death.
Dude, my brain just like froze for a second there. Spooky form. Let's just call it spooky form. Oh, Lee Gon gets got. How does Lee Gon die?
They're already to see another incredible.
And Lee Gon pops B here as well. Yo, look at Lee Gon here. He's getting juggled by Fearless. Tries to beat. Ooh, that was Fearless diff right there on the monkey.
Fearless, he does it again. What a play from him. The fight still continues though. Shanghai do not want to give this one up. They still should have the advantage when it comes to all.
Having a lot this stage. It's like the classic 2020 thing of like Lee Gon has definitely been known if he ever... I think Lee Gon's biggest and what feels like only weakness as a player is when he needs to pull back on the aggression and when he starts getting countered, he just doesn't. He just keeps playing the same way. Wow, Shanghai's still going to hold this. That's crazy. Fearless could not have done more. He has FD God energy, yeah. Just needs to be able to like pull back on the reins a little bit.
Checkpoint B. Wonderful plays there from Shanghai, especially coming back after that when Fearless made that huge play.
I missed 2 maps. Honestly, the first 2 maps were kind of rolls from Dallas Fuel. Dallas Fuel like 2-0'd them on Li Jiang, and then they 2-0'd them on they full held on Volskaya. I also think Lucio is the weakest. I think Lucio is the most unimportant character. As a Lucio, after you've sped boost your entire team into the opposition team, honestly, you're not that valuable anymore. Everyone else gets way more value at that point. Obviously, you need to just not die, but your team can definitely get away without you.
I mean, Dallas are probably thinking that they have to full hold this.
Lee Gon, FD God, and Moth are very similar playstyle. I would not put Moth in that list. I think Lee Gon and FD God are like that. I think Moth is a much more passive Lucio.
That's why I was saying it's stronger on control when they're in control of the objective. Because Fate finds
what is my purpose? You speed boost the team and die. Okay.
when Fate's trying to get positions and set up big set plays.
Moth is like the NA Animo. Okay, oh, yeah. Let's not put Moth and Animo in the same tier, okay? Moth is still a 2-time champion. Moth is still incredible at what he did, but he definitely doesn't play the same way as Lee Gon and FD God and stuff like that. Kinda, yeah. Animo, Moth does a lot more than Animo. Yeah, I would say Moth and Jexay are the same style. Let's put it that way. They both know when to go aggressive, and they. Oh, dude, I'm gonna get a headache watching Fate aim.
Just kind of swinging around. It seems aimlessly, but
Moth and Funny Astra. I think Funny Astra is more aggressive than Moth and Jexay.
Looking for the kill, but Iziaki is the one who goes down. Shanghai Dragons far too low now. Not going to be having those Moira heals. Lee Gon, they all.
Moth might have had his highest peak on Mercy. Yeah, same honestly.
Dallas Fuel holding on here. They don't want to be losing anybody else. Sparkle did go down there. You got to remember the way.
Astra was the player I looked up to the most. I'm actually really excited to see Funny Astro play for the Glats. I actually think we'll see Funny Astro play over Scoot. If we end up in a Lucio meta in Overwatch 2, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Funny Astro.
Now Dallas have an opportunity to go aggressive with this coalescence.
Oh, this Cole. Dude, the Dallas aggression just...
It's instantaneous.
If Shanghai can get through the first point, they're in a good spot. But I think Wrecking Ball is not very good on this first point.
essentially the team fight is done and dusted. Fate is hiding, kind of like trying to avoid a lot of the damage, I suppose.
You ever check Juju, Mercy?
Yeah, so this is
I feel like we didn't see much of it, but I think it passed the eye test, right? From the little bits that we saw, it seemed fine.
really abuse that ball form and see around the corner so he gets.
Will we ever see Scoop besides Brig or double flex? We saw it last year, but I hope we don't.
Dallas Fuel is down in terms of support ults. They tend to
Yeah, like we didn't see Moth, like Scoot played that stuff over Moth, like what it felt like on. That was a good, that was a great slam into mines. Dallas Fuel do a great job of disengaging though. We get copy, we get beat. Dude, Dallas just pressed all the Qs. Shanghai's doing a good job of holding off though. Then they beat later. Fletter goes for the copy. Yeah, that was really well played by Shanghai. They bent but didn't break. Oh, Spark was dead. Yeah, that was really well. They engaged with Shanghai. They engaged with Fate's mines. Like, think about how smart that is. They engaged. Oh my god, that was a really good juggle by Fletter. Oh, I don't know about the. There's no way they win this, right?
Shanghai were in a very comfortable position.
Yeah, no, they don't. That was really well played by Shanghai. They dropped the mines on the high ground, forced Dallas to drop, and then Dallas uses all their ults in response to try and counter that aggression. Shanghai wait out that ultimate cycle and then drop their own ultimate cycle. Dude, Dallas don't win this, right? There's no way.
Sparkle taken down though, so both Echoes out of the engagement. Blip forced to use his Wraith form as well.
Oh.
Couldn't quite get the pile drive off with which to set up the rest of his team.
And then Fate gets another set of mines.
They're gonna fight for every inch of this.
They can't push into this, right? With the mines, the power driver from Fate. They don't want to overstep themselves to support.
Fate's doing so much work on this ball.
Someone's got to contest this. How do you touch this into the mines? Coalescence now being forced and they don't touch the point. Just a little bit of a mistake there from Dallas. But it's all Shanghai need. And now they're going to be pressing forwards and then losing.
Are you snitching on me, Argent Blade?
It means they're not going to be able to take this team fight round the corner.
No, we were talking nice things about the Houston Outlaws. No one said anything toxic towards the Houston Outlaws, right, chat? We all said nice things. Nothing bad was said. Yeah.
Large-scale strategic decision that Fearless wants to be playing the Wrecking Ball to match Fate. But now that he's close to the minefield, he kind of feels compelled to stay on it. We'll keep
Yeah, Fearless is going to stay on the Wrecking Ball. And, like, I feel like there's a narrative set that Fearless isn't good at Wrecking Ball. I don't believe that. Like, Fearless is a fine Wrecking Ball in the same way that Fate is a fine Winston, right? They can play it, and they can beat most teams playing it, but it's definitely not the specialty hero. Fearless put a lot of work into it as well, it looked like. It got a lot better as time went on.
What an ultimate! Stopping Lee Jagon again from getting that soundbar off, and what a critical kill.
It's night and day the difference between Lip and Doha in terms of the ults that they're able to get off. Lip initiated with the Death Blossom. We didn't catch it on our screens, but I assume it was booped away, something like that, and wasn't able to get any value. I was taking a look at the screen. There was essentially no damage being done by Lip's ultimate. Whereas Doha...
People just don't want to admit Fearless is great at every main tank, yeah. And that's honestly the biggest nerf that the Dallas Fuel are taking going into this upcoming Overwatch League season, is that they can't play both of them at the same time. Which is kind of tragic, because they're both so good. Oh, Sparkle kind of messed that up. That was a good disengage by... Oh, Shanghai.
Just by enough time, Fielder is going to get his coalescence off, and now going to be using it to try and win out this fight. Doha teleporting into the backline. It's an intelligent play, and Jexa just trying to man-mark the cart so nobody can sneak it by them.
You think Stonks and Mayhem has gone up? Yeah, I think Mayhem's going to be better than people expect.
Also going to be pressured quite heavily as the tanks of the Shanghai Dragons.
I think people... I think people don't realize how good some of their additions are. Like, their DPS line, Hydron, Xe, and Checkmate. I'm the least sold on Checkmate, but, like, we also didn't get to see him play for the Florida Mayhem. But then, like, I really like someone as a player. From what I've seen, he seems really solid. He seems flexible. And then their backline is pretty solid. If Animo can play to a level that he needs to, and then they have Karib and Sermaged, I think it's a pretty good team. Like, do I think that they're going to win a championship? No. But I think they're definitely not good. Some people think they're just going to be flat last, and I don't believe... Oh, that beat was so clutch by Jexe. Oh, Doha is literally negative health. Oh, there it is.
Will be sent packing right back to the spawn door. The coalescence comes through. The Dragons, they're finally going to be bringing it here to the
there it is.
They are going to be taking away Numbani.
What do you mean he played Ryan? Oh god, no.
Not going down without a fight. Getting
Alright, there you go. Shanghai Dragons. 3 maps in.
after taking that first
able to after being able to play the wrecking ball, I think they are much nicer when they're able to play the wrecking ball. All right, so we're going on to Rialto. I don't think I love Rialto as a wrecking ball map. I think it's almost better for the Winston, but I actually don't think it's good for either. I feel like it might be a little too open for the Winston.
The course of this match, in that Shanghai have managed to make them uncomfortable playing their
Who do you think will be dead last? I don't really like talking about who I think will be last. I think there's like a couple of teams that I think are probably the weakest, like your Vancouvers, your Londons. Like I don't think either of those teams have gone like super high, but I even think those teams are pretty solid. Like I feel like when you say someone's going to be last, it sounds like a diss. Like, it's not like last year where it's like, yeah, Vancouver, Boston, and Valiant, those guys are going to be last. Like, that's not what it feels like this year. I can see any of the bottom teams actually having a really good performance this year.
Perhaps some fearlesses are trying to cut around, but Shanghai, they out-rotate them, and look at those sticky.
Like, I think Boston's in that list as well. Like, I think Boston could be last.
But Brent, this is the same scenario as Volskaya. They get the first pick, it's on Sparkle.
There's too many things changing to know exactly, but I think all the rosters have done a good job of putting a roster together. Dude, that felt too easy for Shanghai.
They're on attack, so it's much better.
Boston last. I could see Boston being last.
Forwards and wipe Dallas fuel out before they can disengage. Because if you look at that coalescence charge, if Dallas had managed to disengage there, they could have pushed back in 5v6 with a call.
With Striker?
And if Sparkle comes back up spawn again, there's still 30.
Well, okay, here's my point about Boston, right? I'll just let it play. Here's my point about Boston, okay? And Boston fans, I'm sorry. You know, it's not like a big thing. As I said, I don't think they're terrible. I don't think their roster's the worst. Something about it is just like, I don't know if Marvel and Striker are going to play to their peaks. Right? Like, I could 100% see that team just struggling, like, in all roles. I think there's a lot better rookies that are coming in that I have a lot more faith in. People are like, oh, Striker's great. He's a two-time champion, right? When was the last time we saw Striker have an incredible performance in a match? 2020? Playoffs? Like, he had some okay games in 2021, but, like, to the level that we see these other players, like, that's a hard to tell. Maybe Striker hits his previous performances. You know, he is a champion. He was the best tracer in the world. He was an incredible player. We know he can play hit scan. He gets him. But there's a question mark there, and I think the same thing could be about Marvel, right? There's a question mark there. Valentine and Faith, they had some good times and they're good moments, but they also had matches where they looked really bad. And you can be like, well, they were on Boston. They looked bad. They're still on Boston. They might still suck. There's a world in which I can see that team falling flat, but there's also a team I can see them being very easily middle of the pack.
Crucially there, along with Jex's sound barriers, which have been incredibly reliable, which is something that you can't quite say for Lee J gone.
No, I would have stayed on the point. If I was at Wrecking Ball, I would have just stayed on the point and kept pushing it. I would have just been like, fuck it, I'm just going to keep pushing it. Yeah, I think he should. If he just kept pushing it, it could have been...
It cannot be a continuing trend if Shanghai want any chance in this. Yeah, now, nevertheless, there is a back cap going on. Fate is just continuing.
Yeah, like, I think this, like, that would have, like, that was a good play. Honestly, that's not a bad fight for the Dragons. So now they only need to win one fight to cap the second point. Like, that was a pretty good fight for them. If they just come in with their own coal now, and mines, and copy, like, they're in a good spot. I actually think that was pretty well played by Fate.
He's getting, like, battered in the Primal Rage, and once you get caught against Fearless, it's probably not going to be happening, but in that case, a bit unfortunate for...
I mean, Birdering and Prophet both had a season and then came back. Yeah, but they were all, like... You never know, right? Like... There are players who, they do hit their previous peaks, there are players that don't, right? Like, and the thing is, we don't know. And that's, you know, like, remember, take everything that we say and predictions with a grain of salt. Oh, they get Fate. How is Dallas holding this? I feel like Shanghai kind of forced it a little bit too much there.
And now we can start just pumping lead into the opposition. Coalescence as well, going to be giving them the boost they need as they make their way around the corner, pick up the rest of the players on the Shanghai Dragons.
Overwatch 2 is a completely new game. There is no one size fits all, and it's all just speculation. So maybe Boston will be good. Maybe London will be good. Maybe Vancouver will be really good. They all have potential, and I think you can make a case for all of those teams to be good. But someone's going to be last, you know? And it feels harder and harder every year to name someone who's going to be last.
Always wants to be hunting for the kills, not playing around the objective. So Fate may be able to force a really uncomfortable scenario for Dallas here, where they have to give up.
So Valiant might win the league. Well, I want to know what Valiant's team is going to be. Because they have some good pieces. They have No Hill as coach. They have Dia. They have Innovation. Their backline's not bad. Like, they have good pieces.
Sound barrier from both of these teams. Fate, though, also falling, so no main tanks on either side.
They're definitely way better than they were last year. Remember, last year the LA Valiant, the reason we knew that they were going to be trash is they put like a Masters main tank in. They moved a tank to support. And like all of the players that were supposed to be their carry players, no one believed in anymore. Like, did anyone think that Crystal was going to put his best foot forward? Hell no. Crystal literally robbed the LA Valiant. That's what it felt like.
Has Death Blossom. A good boom, I believe, by Lijic on there, redeeming himself somewhat for all of these dropped sound barriers. And then they push back in with their
Molan run was good.
Get tons more value. His team supporting him as he forged a path deeper and deeper into enemy territory.
Trying to get the pressure
Good for him. I don't blame Crystal.
He fell quite low, ends up using it on the Reaper.
Oh, this is just not looking good. Yeah, when you end up at 500 health before you've even started juggling someone, that's when you know it's not gonna finish the way you wanted it to.
Coalescence used, but Fielder goes down in the middle of it, wasting the coalescence.
Dude, this game feels like there's a Diva Bomb hiding behind every corner. There's always a Diva Bomb to hide from. It's like doing a World of Warcraft raid. It's like, don't stand in the swirlies. It's like, don't stand in the Diva Bomb.
The Dragons have another opportunity to push in here with
Yeah, Molan Run was good. Molan Run actually was the player who surprised me the most.
around the left-hand side, seeing if he can get in.
It's kind of disappointing to see that Molan Run didn't find another team.
Use his defense matrix to forge a path again.
That was kind of some anti-synergy right there. Fate just pushed everyone out of Lip's Death Blossom.
It comes up big, actually, setting up the kill for Fledder onto Sparkle. Doha just, again, he's going to be taken out of that Ray form. Can't do anything.
I feel bad for the players the Valiant signed last season. Well, like, remember, there were players who decided not to sign. Like, Dia was asked to come and play for... Oh! Excuse me?
Just still
1-2. Fate pushes these two into the line of sight, and these two get hit by the pillar. Holy 5-man bomb. I did not...
Oh my word, Void.
Holy... Fate just says, holy...
A 5k self-destruct without as much of a setup. There was no big...
Yeah, there wasn't a grab. There wasn't anything. That was crazy.
There's no... The first
Line aside of it behind.
Oh, wait. They got to replay it. Let's see what happens here. Because what happened to the tanks? So I think they think that the bubble is going to... Oh, Fielder just has no idea. Literally just they were all not in it. But then the Fate boop in the back.
It just fades in time for Void to get that kill. And they were all out of line of sight of it. They had the kill advantage as well. Could have been a different story there.
They were also all trying to hide behind the pillar, Brent. And Lijic got a boop onto one of them. He didn't get the boop onto everybody, otherwise obviously it would come up in the kill feed. But I think even the threat just forced.
But what was I saying? Yeah, I don't think Valiant, like, there were a lot of players that are rumored to have turned down 2021 Valiant, and you should have. Like, when that team imploded and they were like looking to sign a Chinese team and they couldn't get good players, you should not have signed with that team. Unless you knew that you were about to kill your career. Like, you knew that that team was going to be successful. Dia apparently declined to play for that team, and I don't blame him. That team went 0-16. Dia's not trying to live through that nightmare again. Simpleton, thank you for the prime sub.
Dallas, this is where they're comfortable, and you can already see the sticky bombs forcing Void so low. Has to back off all the way up around the corner. So low, gets healed up though in the process, but the Coalescence advantage. Take a look at the top of your screens. It's Fielder with the big one, about 20% better.
Yeah, they're gonna... Ooh, he almost killed Lip.
Oh, they're gonna go in here with the Cole.
Yeah, that was well played by Dallas.
This is a bad timing to take this team fight.
That was so bad, but Shanghai just like snowballed. And this is what made the zombie comp so strong, is that like, if you lost a fight, you could get snowballed so fast.
They dragged that out for so long. The Dallas feel obviously comfortable fighting like that, especially.
I think it's crazy Gargoyle's gonna be teamless this year. I think it's just a result of, you know, losing one tank in the Overwatch League. Obviously, this is a really unfortunate teething period for a lot of tanks. We have an abundance of tanks and not enough spots to sign players, so...
He's not feeding damage and therefore healing into
Why are so many outpros Korean compared to Chinese / Japanese? The Korean region has always been the best region. There's a lot of good players in China, not as good as Korea. And Japan never really took off in Overwatch never really took off in Japan. Wow. Booping in spawn. Like Overwatch is still one of the most played games in Korea. Same as Japan in China. There's a lot of Chinese players.
Dallas are going to have a massive spawn advantage, but for Shanghai, they don't care. It's just about...
Is Jonak, why did he leave? Apparently a personal injury.
25 seconds on the clock for Dallas, and they want to get that down, deep down. Dallas have a lot of ults to be able to fight this, but the more they get dragged out, the happier Shanghai will be.
So much damage on Izayaki though, and they force the fade out. They know he's weak, he doesn't have the fade. That's what Fearless is hunting.
That was
right
not
now,
a great juggle by Fearless.
It's going to be used to keep them alive, but now it's a better one from Jexa, and Void gets demeched. This is a team fight that is going the way of Dallas right now. Ultimates might have to be committed for Shanghai to try and turn it. They're just trying to disengage out of this one, but yeah, Fleder, Hambin, and Fate are going to be falling, and the Dragons out of there. Do not want to be taking this one.
All right, there we go.
Prime opportunity, I think, to try and hold.
There's a chance Chengdu stay together. It seems unlikely. People got to realize that the situation in China is really bad right now. And it's going to have an adverse effect. We've already seen that the games have been delayed 2 weeks in the first couple of weeks. We don't know what Chengdu's going to look like. We don't know what's going to happen. So it sucks for the league, but it's big. Oh my god, double Diva bomb by Dallas. Wow, they didn't get anyone with those.
Yeah, a lot of bombs being utilized in the process though. Fearless falls, and that was a bit of a setup there. Fleder getting that kill, thanks for the beam. Now the coalescence from Fielder just to try and maybe turn this fight around in Dallas.
What's the problem in China? COVID is really bad in China right now. Really bad.
Needs to force Doha down, and that's it. Wasn't able to use the Ray.
They're in full lockdown right now.
Quite weak and susceptible to being forced down.
They're at the situation where they've locked everything down to try and completely eradicate COVID. So they're how we were in 2020, where everything was closed and we were just stuck inside. That's where China is right now. And that's why everything has been delayed. People aren't, it's very hard to get in and out of the country, getting visas, all these Chinese teams, having accessibility for these teams to be able to play online. Even just being able to play online is causing issues.
Now they're looking really tight, really coordinated. Managed to get the cleanup there, and they're going to...
But worse, yeah, but worse is a greater way to say it as well.
Well, here's the thing, Lip also wanted a TP.
So we'll see. And that's, someone was saying Billy is down 90% or something like that. They're Billy, who owns the Hongzhou Spark, are down massively. Then the parent company of the Chengdu Hunters has also been heavily hit, and that's why apparently the Chengdu Hunters might be pulling back on a bunch of their players and selling their team.
Separating away the Echo player, forcing the duplicate out.
So, hey Bo, I know.
Exactly how to time it, so he's going to be getting back to the safety of his team. Still, the fight does not end though. Fleder just trying to stall it out, but he's going to be brought down inevitably, taken out of the Winston form once again, and the Dragons are trying to test this.
Dallas, they're going to get this, right? They should finish this up. Doha just doesn't want to use the... Yeah, they got it.
Fate's going to come in the mind
1 second.
this as well. I'm not sure why. That would have been a very useful tool to be able to hold on to checkpoint C with its tiny choke point. Unless Fate's going to make the change over to Winston, I don't think that would be advisable either. The Dragons have been generating really good...
Bo evicted.
So simply a wasted ultimate coming out there. Nevertheless, Dallas, with only 2.5 minutes on the clock...
To be fair, there's not necessary evidence that Hunters are selling players. Yeah, just rumors.
Certainly going to try. You can see they took the initiative again.
Hashtag free Bo. No, Bo needs to go.
Come out top, and because Fleder with these flank angles.
Only 2 minutes to get third is pretty brutal. And I also think the ball is really good if they just keep engaging before they get inside. As long as Shanghai don't end up on the inside, they're fine.
Beautifully again.
Yeah, this coordination is so much better than when the Dragons played against Dallas the first time around. That time, Fleder was playing majority Soldier 76 instead of the Echo. So just at the hero selection,
Bo deported.
Made better decisions. But also their coordination is so much better. Just Fleder's maneuverability and mobility and just the entire damage output. That
Yeah, look, the Shanghai is just not giving Dallas Fuel an inch.
So good by Shanghai again with the coalescence. It's going to be the self-destructive response of it, just to try and put off
he just missed all those stickies, and then Fearless fell into the stickies. That's so funny.
Stickies on the wall to be able to kill Fearless as he
That was not intentional at all.
Boots and been mech and all into the drink. Jexa getting moment of his own, but this is all just time off the clock. Dallas are not going to.
Wait, Fearless used coal?
Just to get out.
I don't know about that one, Fearless. That was a bit of a waste.
I mean, again, you talk about wasted ults just a moment ago from Fade, but they could have used that in that upcoming team fight. I think Dallas feeling a little bit
Fearless? I meant Fielder.
as well from this pace that Shanghai.
They're both called and they have F names.
They're playing so quickly,
It's hard to know.
so low, it's gonna be
Fielder is the new Fearless. Can't wait to see Fielder play tank in 2022.
Nevertheless, even if it wasn't his intended target, he's going to be trying to make the most of it, trying to build up the coalescence.
Okay. Oh, now Izayaki's going to use a coal in a very heavily losing fight. Some questionable calls so far.
And Dallas Fuel are looking to push this cart now.
Nevertheless, the Dragons are doing an excellent job here and just halting the momentum of Dallas. And all of this proactivity, how fast they're playing. They have upped the tempo enormously here. They were
If 2018 2018 is that Flex Sports have good hogs, that's true.
And now Dallas Fuel, they're on the back.
But I don't think Overwatch 2, hog is it. Hog is definitely not it in Overwatch 2.
Using it to try and offset again Fielder's ultimate. Oh, having to use that Ray form, yeah. Fade is in the backline as well. He's causing so many issues for him. Very low, has to roll away. Get that mega health back, and Hanbin ends up going down here on the defense. The Shanghai Dragons now realize there's blood underwater. They can potentially follow up, maybe get a couple of picks, but one mistake could be it. Lip and Fate go down. You cannot be telling me that the Dallas Fuel are just finding a way into this.
They will still get spawners through though, so Shanghai...
Alright, Dallas look like they're going to finish. Dude, Shanghai's about to get a lot of ultimates up.
Unless Lee Jae-gon does Lee Jae-gon things, that could be a tool that they use to be able to delay this and maybe turn the fight in their
Oh, that was a...
The overtime spawns. The Fade has to be used.
Oh, he got the touch. They really could have stopped that. Oh! That was a 4C9 by the Primal. Damn, if Shanghai touched that, I think they're in a pretty good spot. They're about to get 6 ultimates up.
They get a minute to work.
I was about to say, I think Dallas could have done a better job of stopping them from getting on the point, because if Shanghai was able to get to the point, it was over.
It happens sometimes on Gibraltar as well, but I don't think they can bank on it. You'd always rather have more time on the clock.
Of course, yeah.
But certainly there can be weird interactions. No way! Doha dies immediately?
Did Doha just TP?
I don't know. Lip must have been hiding around a corner or something. There's no way that Doha knew he was there and doesn't use raid form and just dies immediately. That was that's an unfortunate early loss for Dallas. But nevertheless, the spawners are right there.
Yeah, he's gonna be back.
Dude, look at the value of that full slam, dude.
Disengage as the pile drive comes through. Jexa, he can't escape the damage. The momentum was halted. 20 seconds remaining. Shanghai at the spawn door, and yeah, this is a completely different Shanghai Dragons. This championship mentality.
I feel like Fearless would be a good Overwatch to Doom. Some people have been speculating, like, will DPS players do Doom? I think that's a really bad idea. I don't think you need to have your DPS player play Doom. It's changed very heavily the way that it plays.
Izayaki does not have it. 10% and counting. He needs to just bide his time, and Fate is doing a decent job of stopping this one. But however,
Doom is a new hero, yeah. Like, I feel like it's just such a... And then, like, there's probably going to be a way in which you can make it so that you can counter Doom, right? And then if you counter the Doom, then all of a sudden your DPS player is stuck playing Doomfist. Because they can't play any other tanks effectively.
Look at this approach, Josh.
They're flanking around the side, Fate with an engagement, and it's perfectly timed with the rest of the Dragons.
The seismic slam also feels completely different. It feels a lot more like a Winston jump.
And Fate will have the mines to try and push them off the payload, but this hasn't really worked. The Dallas Fuel have zoned them off.
Oh, Fearless just melts.
Fearless, though, traded out. No main tanks on either side. Hanbin comes
now the
through.
Diva Bomb.
Self-destruct. And now the duplicates also coming down. Sparkle with the
oh my god, nerf this, nerf this.
Cooldowns to survive it. Didn't have the mobility either. That's going to be flooded, removed away again from that duplicate form. And this is the scenario I was talking into existence, Josh. The overtime spawners come through.
And then you end up signing Chipsa. Yeah, Chipsa has to be coming out of the woodwork somewhere, right?
Spawn back.
But they don't punish those early spawners. So I think it was Lip and Lee Jae-gon got the forward spawn, but Dallas weren't in a position to try and punish them. That's the problem. If those guys get punished and they get sent back to the spawn queue, then a big snowball can take place. As it is, you're just relying on the double support ultimates here from Jackson and
oh, Sparkle goes down before the beat.
That is a lot of your damage. Missing, but Lee Jae-gon is going to be
stomped
out of existence there. And that is a brutal one for them. The coalescence committed.
Oh!
Fielder just needs to
Doha
clear
gets
some
booped?
Also goes up
How does that even
the
happen?
boosters. What an impeccable play, right in the nick of time for them. Izayaki comes back in with the coalescence, is going to give them a big health advantage, and Handbin will be cleaned up. Dallas still trying to...
I don't even know who's winning.
Spawners are coming a little bit later now for them here. Void straight back up to the high ground, trying to push them away. It is a hard fight to win, but with...
Dude, Shanghai is just holding it down.
The mines as well will stop them from contesting, and as they boop away the remnants, they're going to be stopping Dallas Fuel before they really start to get some speed underneath them.
Fate's Wrecking Ball is doing so much, and it
No,
is
Gypsy did
so
not get
good,
signed
right,
again.
To see the rest of Shanghai actually capitalizing on
How many games does this match go to? 7. It is a long series.
And there is follow-up. At the very end there, just to pick up.
This is very holdable for Dallas, though.
Not get hit by definitely
As well, afterwards, it's very difficult within these compositions to try and find what exactly they're doing to turn things around in the heat of the moment, but Shanghai know exactly what they've got to do here. Cart's gonna start moving here.
As long as they don't let Fate get set up, I think they can get a pretty good first couple of fights.
Would be phenomenal for them.
Fate looking for a flank there. And Jexa positions himself to get ready for a boot to deny.
This is the greatest Overwatch series of all time? I don't think so. I think it's just a boring meta.
Up to the high ground. Has to pop his Wraith.
It's definitely a cool match, but of all time, nah. There's some much cooler matches in my opinion.
Is good from Dallas. Fate just rolling through, and again,
Oh, Doha dies for free? Ooh.
Immediately finding that big onto Jexa. That is ridiculous. And that immediately means Dallas are like, okay, we do not want to fight this. We're going to be backing up before we lose anybody else. We have, again, the coalescence advantage, of course, as a result. You pointed it out earlier with them running Fearless on the Winston. It means they can get more of that healing off.
Toilet bowl. Dude, people love the toilet bowl so much.
Damage into them. Lip almost cleaving through Fielder and stopping that coalescence in his tracks. But
Oh, Sparkle gets flatter.
Momentum flipped on its head once more. Dallas stopping him just shy of that checkpoint A.
That was their call though. Izayaki is gonna have call advantage for this upcoming match.
Would have been good enough to just get a kill, but
Sparkle has to go crazy.
yeah, Fleta, I don't think got involved in that as much as he would have liked to, and the damage coming out from Fate and Lip just wasn't quite enough when you consider that Fielder had a coalescence up the entire time as well. Now though, it's dangerous for Dallas. They have that duplicate, which Sparkle will probably be using onto a Diva.
They're going
Shanghai
aggressive.
have so many tools.
They know that they have the coalescence. They decided to take the fight to them. Lee Jae-gon using his sound.
Oh?
It doesn't connect onto too many targets at all. Fleta, he's desperately searching for a target. Has to drop out of the way of that sound.
He does not want to turn into the Winston.
Primal Rage as well. A couple of people from Dallas falling quite weak. Now the South Destruct comes up.
Oh,
Over.
Izayaki.
Izayaki didn't have the fade. This fight seems to be going the way of Dallas. But only for a moment.
Dude, Fleta's gonna use this copy, dude. The fight's already over and he only just copied.
Committed. Fleta in the Diva form once more. Has to build up the South Destruct.
That was like really bad by Fleta. Fleta had that copy for so long and he just didn't use it.
Burned out of the form, the bomb gets nothing done, and Dallas still in control. The card does not seem to be moving. Fate just rolling around trying to avoid all that damage, trying to keep the overtime ticking so that his team can come back in. But it might be too late here, Josh.
It certainly looks like it.
Yeah.
Burning, and Dallas, they're in
Sparkle Doomfist.
Sparkle back over to the Doomfist, his signature pick, and he punches, stamps the Dallas Fuel's third map win onto the board. It looked like Rialto was definitely going the way of the Dragons early on, but Dallas Fuel are just inexorable.
Inexorable. Alright, Busan up next. Sparkle and Doom is so nuts. Well, it's over. It was fun while it lasted, but it's over now.
It's going to be deciding quite a lot. Will the series end here? Will the Dallas Fuel get that second tournament win in 2020?
It's okay. Dallas is up 3-1. There's no way they lose from here.
On the come up again, trying to
They just win Busan and it's over, and then the review will be over, right?
course of this series. Control maps. Josh, how are you feeling in terms of this one? Like, which side would this be favoring?
This is where Dallas wins. Yeah, Dallas wins on Busan.
Well,
Totally.
I'm really wondering what Shanghai are even going to run here. I think that's my primary concern, Brent. Is not necessarily the
You don't want
map
to see the
pick.
legs.
It's what Shanghai are going to be picking. When they began on Busan,
I think this first round is definitely better for the Wrecking Ball than the Winston. I honestly think Busan in general is probably better for the Wrecking Ball over the Winston.
I feel like from an outside point of view, it is very obvious that that composition is not going to work at this point. So what does Shanghai go for? It looks initially like we're just going to get the same kind of thing. That warms my heart, Brennan. Gives me hope for the Shanghai Dragons.
There we go. Hopefully we're going to be seeing this one go the absolute distance. Remember, it is map point here for the Dallas Fuel, walking away with $100,000, 3 tournament points as well, which plays into the standings. That's what they're going to be fighting for, and a nice pile drive engage comes out from Shanghai. Fleder, though,
Joad gets easy. Wow, that was free from Dallas off the bat.
The opening they needed.
Felt a little too easy.
Already getting those 2 pickoffs. They're going to be getting control of the point as soon as it unlocks. As you pointed out,
Busan is the Koth, what Dorado is the payload. I don't know what you mean.
So early on, and he was the opening kill here.
In what way?
Now Fielder has 80% of his ultimate. He's a full 50% ahead, which gives them so much opportunity to just play.
Like, I don't hate the statement, but I'm looking for the context of it. Is it just how like it plays so differently to all the other maps in that game mode? Dude, Fate's aim, man.
A decent amount of work. Doa does go down, but the coalescence is too overpowering. Lip's going to be beamed down, and it set up a lot of the kills now for them to follow up here. The D-Mech will come through as Yaki.
Precisely, yeah. Like, I understand what you mean in that, like, it's the same game mode, but it plays the most differently out of all those other map types. I can completely understand that. Busan does play very different. It's very, very open. And the points are also very open compared to like your Lijiangs and your Nepols and stuff like that.
Same time, or maybe not actually. Izayaki is 80% counting.
Yeah, Fielder's not really. The rest of Dallas aren't taking any poke damage early on. But now Fearless is looking to engage. Double tank ultimate means that both of those players can play incredibly aggressively.
Fearless needs to not die now, yeah.
Dragons. The mines get used defensively as well to push them away. Fearless so low. Be at least forcing the fade out of Izayaki, and that's an instant.
Oh, good beat by Jax8. If Fielder can get to the Cole, Dallas can win. Fielder's dead. Shit. Sparkle kills Lijiang though.
It could still be winnable right now for either side. Both are going to be trying their hardest. Fleder with the beam down. Sparkle not going to be getting away with that one as he was trying to dive onto the back line of Shanghai.
Interesting.
Just the cleanup for the Shanghai Dragons, but the damage.
Thank you very much for money.
Dallas Fuel with 90%.
Do you all ever notice that sometimes Lip's camera is set such that the battle tag Lip is perfectly covering his lip?
Killing Izayaki. The second one they won because they'd already killed Izayaki the first
What?
time. And then the third one, they lose, but they still get up to 90%.
Thank you for the 369 bits.
In a nutshell right here. So good at snowballing advantages for
This feels like one of those things I'm gonna see and then never be able to unsee.
This opens up the door for Dallas.
That's not ideal at all. And you can see the aggression, the thought process here from Shanghai. They think, okay, we'll go in with the mines, but Dallas, they push right past it. Lijiang goes.
Yeah, Dallas don't give a shit about your minds.
Not going to be giving those team any heals, no speed boost in action. Doha does not have the raid form.
Oh,
Set up the kill onto
that was not good aim by Doha.
Fearless is getting a lot done now with that primal rage. Fate just
See, Custa, this is how you avoid mines. Yeah, no, I'd rather run into them. You know, I feel like it's just I'm just trying to be nice, trying to be inclusive, okay?
Just to contest it, but that's not going to be good enough.
Sometimes you just want to give him a big old hug.
It certainly doesn't look like it. Izayaki falls once more as Shanghai desperately bleed players back in over and over. But it's Dallas. It's Dallas all the way. It always has been. And they take their first step in what could potentially be the...
Mines are shiny and they beep. You know, it's a nice thing to have.
There are a lot of B very powerful as well. The city center of Busan.
No way Dallas loses now. Yeah, no, they got it 100%, chat. 100%. They close this out.
Big pile drive here.
That's an enormous pile drive.
A lot of damage.
That was such a good pile drive and play by Fate.
It puts him below that 50% health threshold. The D-Mech onto Hambin as well. Izayaki goes down early though. That's a really big pick-off.
That was a clean 2-tap into beam.
Dallas Fuel still fighting this with the heal advantage. I think they are going to be losing this off the back of losing this many players. But the downside is they're going to have this big coalescence disadvantage.
Dallas are going to recognize that. You can't help but know that Fielder has a coalescence way earlier than Izayaki. And so they can push back in. Shanghai need a plan to try and mitigate this advantage that the Dallas Fuel have. Some big pile driver engage again, or trying to play slowly and push back in with the beat.
I left for the store after that round. Oh no.
Okay, well, Fielder just uses the fate to engage deeper into the enemy territory.
Dude, Fielder doesn't. That was a little. That was a little too aggressive from your boy Fielder.
Right round the corner. Leading his team in
Just a little bit too aggressive. Maybe turning that corner into their whole team wasn't the play.
Still an option here for Handbin, but the Dragon's still in control of the point still. Lip trying to get away with that Death Blossom, but he is punished through it. The defense matrix can't save him through the beam damage that Sparkle was outputting.
Dallas Fuel are getting baited into using all their ultimates. Dallas just used every single ultimate to try and win this fight, and they just threw.
Hopefully with this coalescence, they've got enough.
That's a good bomb. Is it gonna land on Harbin? Oh my god, it actually landed on Harbin.
Cut it off cleanly, and it looks like they are going to do just that. It was looking messy though.
It was messy, and yet the
That's such a bad fight for Fuel.
throughout the entirety of that. Able to ping pong.
Why was Reaper meta? There's hero pools in this tournament.
Dallas had a major advantage.
So Reaper is the best like dive self-sustain hero.
Now don't have that many tools to be able to work with. Sure, they have
So you couldn't play Tracer or Sombra, so it sort of enabled Reaper.
But Dragons have already showcased that they're good at being able to disengage.
Hard driver from Fate straight into the high.
This gets Lip.
Down, but Lip goes down. Gonna be missing a ton of damage when your Reaper's not in these fights. Dallas Fuel. Oh wow. Yeah, they're absolutely gonna be.
Alright, Dallas should actually get the point now.
The point probably gonna be going their way.
And they still have Cole, which is a big thing.
Dallas are getting so much free space. Whenever Dallas have an ultimate advantage, Shanghai Dragons don't necessarily want to engage off the Fate's pile drive.
Would you play over Reaper? Like, I could absolutely see a Tracer being good in this comp. Like, Tracer could be pretty good in this comp. Reaper's actually really good. I think Reaper actually makes a lot of sense. I could see a Tracer or Sombra being played. Absolutely, though.
And then when he tries to disengage, then they'll leap on top of it.
Sombra Reaper? I think the Echo's really good in this comp, though.
Dallas Fuel an entry back. Fielder again ahead of Izzy.
It's hard to know.
One team fight though, that's all Shanghai need to look forward to. They win that, take the point, that's going to be the round for them. But
Oh wow, that worked. Cold Death Blossom off the bat. That's a decisive fight win as well.
Yep, setting up that kill with the Death Blossom. And of course Lip, yeah, unable to really
Oh, Doha, please.
Nice team fight win here for the Dallas Fuel. Shanghai though, obviously going to be coming back into this one. They're looking at their
This is before they started running Brig Zen. Zen is actually, I was gonna say cancelled. Zen is actually not, is also a part of the hero pools, but also if you're gonna play Zen, the Tracer Sombra are really good with the Zen. Zen is cancelled, yeah. Tracer Sombra were also banned, and you kind of need that with the Brig Zen comp.
I wouldn't count the Dallas Fuel out, even though they're at a disadvantage here.
Clutter using that duplicate. He's already been chunked down. The heals are going to come through. Izzy does not want to be using his ultimate. Sparkle built up the bomb though. He's going to be laying that down and not going to be putting in any pressure here. You can see Fearless using that Primal Rage. He's already in the back line. Very, very low. Probably going to be taken out.
How does Fearless die to that bomb? Oh my god, Flutter is insane. Oh my god, Flutter, please.
What a clutch moment. Ripping it away from them. And the Dallas Fuel wiped out. The overtime is going to come through. They're going to get a couple of bodies onto the point, but with the control of the objective, Shanghai can just punish them as they try and walk in.
Sombra would have been really good in this comp because you can cancel the Moira ult. His EMP is really good against both. Most defensive. That's the best feeling when you boop those doofies in the air.
A game in our hands as well as Lip cleans up these final bodies. It bears mentioning, Brent, how amazing it is that the Shanghai Dragons have been able to learn this composition in such a tiny amount of time, refine it over the course of the June Joust.
18%, that's all we need? Yeah, so close yet so far, my friend. Don't worry, Mecha Base. You guys are surely going to win Mecha Base. Dallas wins Mecha Base. Don't worry about it, guys. Dallas is going to win.
Being able to adjust in such a short amount of time. It's nothing short of impeccable.
It's scary how fast this team is at learning. Dallas Fuel have weeks of advantage.
Winston's better here. Yeah, totally, sure.
And with how the Dragons have been playing in these final couple of maps, you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't even know.
Ooh, Sparkle's dead.
Once again, find the opening pick. It's always onto Sparkle, Brent. They're finding these pile drive initiations onto Sparkle over and over and over.
And you can feel momentum just slipping ever so slightly.
You can feel, like, it does feel like that of, like, Dallas are getting more and more desperate of, like, how do we win versus this Wrecking Ball. The Fate slams are just a problem. If Hunters blow up, who do you think will take leave? I hope he goes to Guangzhou. But I don't know if Guangzhou can afford him.
Managing to build up a little bit there.
I hope he doesn't go to Shanghai.
But overall, it's going to be pretty simple. Fate just needs to scout here. He's looking for pile drive initiations once more. But having not been able to stop them at the choke point, This is probably just going to be him rolling through everybody.
Leave to Gladiators. I'd be surprised if Leave went to an NA team.
Use this Fade just to avoid the pile driver there coming through from Fade. And now there's Coalescence. Shanghai is playing incredibly split.
Yeah, Shanghai have just like they're just like avoiding the way where the Dallas fueled up.
Not going to be getting any kills, but it does push them back. And Dallas now they have to regroup.
Leave to MYXL. Leave to MYXL would be pretty nasty.
Might just be doing
That'd actually be sick, but like it's hard to integrate a Chinese player. Like you got to remember, like Chinese players, like all of a sudden, if he went to MYXL, does all of a sudden are they all going to communicate in Korean? So all of a sudden, Leave needs to learn how to speak Korean, which he doesn't know how to do. Like I think obviously we've normalized having these mixed rosters with Korean players, but I think there aren't many mixed rosters that have been able to make Chinese players work as well. Like you need a lot of infrastructure. You need translators. You need good turn by Dallas. You need translators. You need setups. You need people to understand. You need everyone to be able to communicate effectively, because we've seen so many teams struggle trying to have these mixed rosters, and then when they can't communicate, they break down when the team like just isn't working.
The Dragons got up to 69% there.
Look at Hangzhou. So Hangzhou works because they've done Korea and Chinese, and they have a ton of infrastructure set up for that, right? Like, Leave could go to Hangzhou. It could work at Guangzhou, Chengdu, like places which already have Chinese influence set up. But like, there's a big difference between going to one of those teams and then going to like MYXL, which I assume all their coaches, all of their players are currently Korean. Are you just expecting Leave to like step into that? It could work, and I'm not saying it can't work. I'm just saying it's unlikely, you know?
You can take care of him. We need to take this team fight at the choke point. But it is such a nuisance.
Yeah, Fade is so annoying. He just keeps going to the point, so that means they can't have their whole team go. Wouldn't Leave be an upgrade over any player, even with outcomes? Yeah, maybe. But like, we've seen teams put together these like theoretical super teams, or like have these great players, but like there's always this like massive language barrier, and like when things start going wrong, they can't fix them because they can't communicate with each other, you know? You can only get away so far. Like, obviously, Leave to any team, he'd be an asset. But is that going to win you a championship? It's crazy, isn't it? When push comes to shove and Leave is no longer the best player in the server, it becomes a problem, right? They only needed one more round, but now there's only one more fight.
Another power drive engaged from Fade. Coalescence off to the side.
Especially right now with visas, it'd be interesting to know how hard it would be to get a Chinese visa to the US. With China being in so heavily locked down, I don't know how difficult that would be. Oh?
Jackson with the sound barrier needs to keep the team back into this one. Sparkle trying to survive, but Doha, the Death Blossom, it's too good, and it forced the Fade out.
Alright, Dallas should win this fight, at least. There's no... He could have pressed Q there, and it could have been good, but I think it would have been a throw.
The Dallas Fuel just about ripping it away, and they're going to be in control.
It's okay. Dallas just have to hold now. They have old advantage. They're good.
The teleport into the backline, he had about 85% result. If he'd been able to get the Death Blossom off, that could have been the fight win for the Dragons and securing Busan. And now they have an uphill battle. They only need one team fight, sure, but they're fighting into both tank ultimates. Jexa with the support ultimate as well. The Dragons are going to need magic here. Maybe Lip can redeem himself with a fat Death Blossom.
And the boot misses there from Jexa. You can see the coalescence of Izayaki and the mines. So much damage Doha brought down to...
That beat wasn't very good. It was only to keep Doha alive. Oh, there we go. Wait, how did Dallas lose this?
This would be heartbreak, devastation for the Dragons. Twice making it to
I guess this is like the Shanghai comp is like such a fast comp that it's impossible to stop them.
So close to being able to extend this to a fifth map. Fate touches Brand.
The overtime comes through. Fate just trying to keep this one
yeah, Shanghai's gonna get an ult cycle before Dallas is. Oh.
The Dragons might just be ending this one here.
Yeah, Dallas used too many ults in that previous fight to win it. Because once they touch the point, they have ults. Like they have the Death Boss and they have the copy, and that just gives them so much advantage. Dallas didn't have anything. Ooh, that was close.
They're not going to be denied just yet. They want it to go the distance.
I think Jexay using that beat early was a problem. He needed to save that beat. If he saved that beat for when they dove with those 2 DPS ultimates, I could see them winning it, but...
They will... The timing on the pile drives and the pace it gives them to engage, and the tempo...
No teams have an Australia English translators. True.
Compared to the first 2, it's been night and day.
Like, the biggest example I can say is when I played with Izzyaki. Like, Izzyaki really struggled because he had no English coming when he first moved to Valiant. And he really, like, you could see him get visibly frustrated that he couldn't communicate with the team in the way that he wanted to. And then when you're communicating with a translator, it's really difficult to get, like, deep conversations and, like, really be able to, like, solve the problems and work out the problems. That's one of the reasons Kriv continued to play for the Valiant in 2019, even though Izzyaki was on the team. I think we knew Izzyaki was mechanically better than Kriv, but Kriv could communicate and Kriv, like, could make it work. So I think there's a big thing of, like, making sure you have the infrastructure and make everything set so that these teams are good.
Fade is having to adjust to the adjustments.
Last tried something similar in 2020. Yeah, it's just like, it's frustrating, especially like, it's usually sided in one way, right? Like slated in one way. You're either more of an English speaking team or you're more of a Korean speaking team, right? Like generally you default to one. Like the Shock, I think they defaulted more to communicating in English. They communicated everything in English, and when they wanted to have deep discussions, they brought the translator out. But then those discussions would be happen in English and everything would be translated back and forth, right? And it's just hard. It's just a hard thing to overcome. Chuck still do that. Yeah, exactly, right? And people have set up these things, and they have these things worked out for English and Korean speakings. But then if you add Chinese in there as well, imagine if you have English, Korean, and you have the translators first, and now you have to have a Chinese translator as well. Like, think about how much more of a layer that adds to the problems. It's like playing telephone, and that's it. Like, things get lost. Like, you're using a translator. The translator can't perfectly communicate what you're trying to say in English to Korean, right? Or Korean to English. It's just impossible. There's going to be things that get lost along the way, nuances, all that kind of stuff. Dude, Fate literally AFK on the point behind the team.
Testing a little bit. That's a great boot though from Jexay. Yeah, that denies the engagement that he was looking for.
Everyone just learned 3 languages, yeah.
Fleder is punished as a result of it. Normally they coordinate that with Fleder's flight and the power driver. It normally just plays hand in hand.
Clean first fight by Dallas. Oh, that's a bad death. If they get out as well, oh. Alright. Sparkle should be back by the time. It shouldn't be a problem. Lethal Potato, thank you for the prime sub.
Is 30% ahead when it comes to coalescence. So if the Shanghai Dragons try to engage off the back of Sparkle being dead, they're going to be able to buy time with the coal.
Fielder now going to be using that one. The coalescence comes through.
Wobble, motherfucker.
Toxic, thank you for the prime sub as well. Yo, thank you very much for the subs, guys. I appreciate you. What are your thoughts to Belis Ria to Philly? I think it makes sense. I think it's a good signing. I think they need it. Like, obviously Fury is a great off tank, but they didn't have a main tank. I think if you're gonna try and be a competitor going to Overwatch 2, you should have a main tank. Should have both just to be safe. I think, you know, obviously Belis Ria has experience playing on T1 with Zest and MN3. Makes sense. I don't think Belis Ria is the best main tank coming into the league, but I think he is. He's definitely good enough to play in the league.
Blossom, the kill onto Lip is beautiful. Sublime Fleder though, still not dealing with him. The sticky bombs are connecting quite nicely. The
good beat.
It's keeping their team alive. Traded out on either side. Both teams going to be committing those ultimates. Void with the self-destruct though.
Nerf this.
Right in the bubble. The bubble
nerf this.
No casualties now on the other side of things. Hanbin will get rewarded. Fate falls and the coalescence now being utilized. Fielder needs to beam them down, but the damage.
Dude, Death Blossom feels like a button to press to die.
Just from the amount of it that was coming through.
Oh, that was a great boop. I don't know who booped him, but I think it was Hanbin. No, not Hanbin. Yeah, I actually don't know who that was. Fleder kills Doha with the remake? Ooh, Sparkle. Dallas are gonna hold.
Wobble, motherfucker.
Hydrophobic, thank you for the 2 months as well.
Dragons keep throwing bodies in.
They're finally copying Divas. Yeah. That was like a big upgrade from May Melee to the June Joust. Is like literally just everyone agreed that it was the best thing to do was copy Diva. Like, have we seen any copy on anything that isn't Diva? I think I remember one Reaper one, but for the most part, everyone just copies Diva.
Slightly later, but it still gets off. He's going to be healing up the rest of his team now with it, offsetting that advantage that Shanghai may have had. Lip trying to do the good work as well, just again.
There was a Moira copy on Rialto. Oh, okay, interesting. Probably a mistake, let's be real. Or like an emergency copy. Wow. Dude, these guys are so good at the game.
Doesn't actually get it off, I believe, or maybe it just faded too quickly.
Dude, I don't even know what's happening. There's so much shit going on my screen, and no one is dying. Oh, Jexay dies. Fielder gets cold soon. Good boop on the D bomb.
The self-destruct has come through from Sparkle already that tries to buy enough time for Fielder to turn this with his coalescence. But surely Shanghai win this in the end. They have all the positioning all over the point, damage coming through from various different angles. And as time ticks down to the overtime, the Dragons will eventually claw this.
For some reason that flutter pop is like really laggy. It is day 13 of this team fight. Send help, honestly. Yeah, I think 400 bits on honest. 45 bits, sorry.
Both of these teams are making
No, I'm not. Rookella, we're almost at the end of the history of Overwatch series. With Overwatch 2 coming out and the Overwatch League starting up again soon, we got to end the series. So I think the only game that we have left that we're going to watch is the Countdown Cup with the Glads win. It's going to be the last one.
Another fight here being taken by Dallas. TP is
Oh, that was kind of a throw by Doha. I don't think he was expecting to take that much damage. Great slam by Fate.
Goodbye. See you later. DJ Gon taking out Jexa though, and Sparkle's still alive.
No bread bowl? No. As I said in the past, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it. Like, I didn't mind watching the toilet bowl as much because a lot of those players aren't existing in the league anymore and that kind of shit. But, like, a lot of the players who played in the bread bowl are still in the league. Like, especially a lot of the London players. And, like, I don't really want to flame those guys. It was fun, but we must move on.
Keep this momentum flowing. Minute and a half. They're going to be able to
end it on a good game.
As well. They've led a lot of ults out of the Dallas Fuel, and now Fearless moves over to the Wrecking Ball. Going for that last minute exchange, perhaps.
So you have nothing nice to say? Not about that game. That game was trash. Like, it was a reason it was coined the bread bowl. There was not good gameplay. It was like, it was actually who would drop the spaghetti more. Like, it was not a good game.
Just gets eaten up by Void.
He's kept alive as well by the coalescence of Fields.
That game broke all understanding of what we had.
Disrupt this momentum that Dallas are playing with. Clutter has the bomb, gonna be sending it into the site.
Oh, dude, Dallas is low though.
Did not fall there.
Oh, goodbye, Sparkle. Ooh, nice play by Sparkle to get that trade though.
Shanghai winning this one. The coalescence chasing them. They're searching for even more targets. The card is going to move, but with 30 seconds remaining, Dallas might be looking for an opportunity to recontest, especially with Fearless on the Wrecking Ball. They're kind of teasing the concept of it. They're going to be able to do so now, and the mines are there. Placed down onto the point. Fate comes down with the power drive. Now the coalescence as well. So much damage.
Fearless mines?
In the middle of all of this as well, Fleder has swapped over to Soldier 76 of all things.
The Fleder legs. Oh, isn't this where I was like flaming people for playing legs? This is when I said legs was bad, and then Fleder's like, hold my beer.
Objective and putting damage from afar, but it seems like the Shanghai Dragons are going to get closed out here.
They have to commit the bodies to defensive cooldowns. Lip does not have the Ray form, and he's dead instantly. Fearless still on the fight. The mines are doing a very good job. The self-destruct is going to be cleared them away, but they use the cooldowns again to avoid it. Fearless so low, and the legs is working out. It's paid off. Fearless putting in that damage from afar. Nobody can contest them on the bridge, and the bodies are falling. They're dropping for the Dallas Fuel.
Okay. Good old times. I hope you guys like legs, because legs is going to be meta in Overwatch 2, I think. The legs is good in Overwatch 2.
Sweet vindication, screams Fleder as he charges forward into the front lines. Are we going to see a hero swap at any point? Perhaps not. Fleder is such a diveable target here. The tag visor is not enough, Brent. He's going to be pushing into this.
Dude, visor is so useless in this comp. It's so useless in this comp. Like, look at how useless that ultimate is. Literally, he just presses it, runs forward, and they're like, what? Better than Sojin? Yeah. Because, like, as we were saying, the thing that is a problem with in this comp that makes legs bad is that they have a Diva and a Wrecking Ball. Two things that just get in your face and you can't do anything about it. You can only have one of those in Overwatch 2.
That's kind of huge, though, because that means instead of having
Soldier's not bad. Like, I just think Soldier is the best mid-range DPS right now. Hanzo is pretty good as well.
30 seconds as Lip exits the spawn. And Dallas, they love to play aggressive in these scenarios. Is the Shanghai Dragons going to be ready for it?
Coalescence is ready for Izayaki to offset the aggression. They're going to use it early.
That was very early.
As well is good.
Wow, that felt too easy.
Up there at the choke point, beaming down the opposition. Dallas are just
Oh, is Fielder dead? Oh, that's a late death. They're not pushing cart though. That's pretty bad.
And it is going to be the overtime push now coming through from the
Soldier Play is the worst game ultimate in the game. Well, like, I think Overwatch 2 will be a prime example of how something can be considered the worst game in the game, and then just with the change of like one less tank, you'll see how valuable that character can become.
Thank you very much, Money.
Isn't Sojourn 1000% better than Legs? No. Sojourn is very much dependent on hitting the rail headshot, right? And that's the problem. But then it's like, well, to charge up the rail, you need to either shoot a shield or shoot characters, and that means you need to get in people's face to get the rail. So, and then it all comes down to if you hit that shot. Especially from a casual perspective, Soldier is so much more consistent. Like, Soldier is just way more valuable in general. Yeah, in a perfect world where Sojourn's hitting all the headshots and just popping off. Yeah, Sojourn has a higher ceiling, but I think Soldier is just in general better. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Because from mid to long range, Sojourn doesn't really do anything with her left click. Think about it. Like, think about Orisa, right? Think about Sojourn's left click like Orisa's left click. From medium to long range as Orisa, you don't really do much. Unless there is a shield that you can shoot at or someone standing still, you don't really hit anything. And that's Sojourn as well, right? And you need to hit those left clicks to be able to shoot the rail, the thing that actually matters. So that's that divide that I don't think people have really realized. So you need to play aggressive with Sojourn, but then like Sojourn's very weak. She only has 200 health, and once you've used your slide, you don't really have any mobility. So don't take this as me saying Sojourn is bad or that Soldier is overpowered. I just personally think Soldier is going to be played more over Sojourn.
He's playing it for more survivability, but he is not finding the same value. They don't have the same.
Just wait for people to get better at Sojourn, and that's it. Like, maybe Sojourn will be better in time. We just haven't fully unlocked her potential.
The Dallas Fuel are now having to adapt.
But I'm just telling you, when Overwatch League starts, you're probably going to see Soldier, and you're not going to see Sojourn.
Getting to crunch time in the series.
I've heard enough. Nerf the Legs. No. Legs is finally rising up.
This is going to go. Who does the momentum favor here? It's anyone's game.
Yeah, I have really struggled with calling things Soldier and Sojourn. I got to start calling them Legs.
In a sense, with the way that this has felt, the past few team fights, the way Shanghai have been the ones really dictating the pace of how it's been going.
So Fearless goes back to the Winston. They're having somewhat success with the Wrecking Ball, but
the attacking side, Dallas are going to try and open up a couple of opportunities now. You can see the leap comes through. Boob's back though. That's Fate waiting to use the grapple just to ensure that Fearless can't really get right into the back line.
I think Dallas are just trying to get a call, right?
Very, very low. Another great boop there. Yeah, Jexa.
Oh, Fate goes down. Yeah. I feel like Shanghai needed a bigger go button. They were just kind of like bleeding out there.
Walking through them. And
that kind of felt way too easy for Dallas.
I'll be honest with you. It felt like they just kind of toppled over there.
Well, there was no point at which Shanghai were able to get a hard engage. Fate didn't go for a pile drive.
People watching on the desk are for sure going to be confused. Yeah, that's it. It's worth noting. Sojourn, I don't know. Well, I'll have to think about it. It's useful to know because I'll have to think about it. Maybe I'll just call Soldier Legs.
Had the choice of either stopping Fearless or stopping the rest of his team. And they just never found that opportunity to go for the hardcore engage.
Fielder gonna get that beam down onto Fledder.
Call advantage.
Damage is done here.
Yeah.
Missing Fledder. It's gonna be hard for them to take this fight deeper. Shanghai obviously want to be punishing this. If they can get any sort of trade kills, could be immensely valuable for them. Doha with the Ray form has to back off.
Is Shanghai gonna win this fight? There's no way, right? Dude, they're committing all their ultimates.
To it. D-Mech will come through though, as Hanbin will use that self-destruct just to get back into the mech quickly.
Oh, Doha. That was... I feel like Dallas Fuel used their ults way worse than Shanghai. Shanghai had no business winning that fight, but they just used their ults way better. Like, that beat from Lee Jagon was nuts. Jexay didn't have it yet. Lip isolates Jexay and gets that kill. Like they killed Flutter and demeched Void, yet they still weren't able to think. I think they were just being too greedy with ultimates.
Back again. Dallas are looking for an overstep from the Dragons, a bad engagement, Fate going too deep, a boot from Jexa that sets up a kill. These are all win conditions.
Oh, that was dangerous by Jexe. With a Reaper in his face.
Yeah, another self-destruct comes up over the top. That's from Void this time. Remek's not going to be getting too much value, but at least he's back in the Diva form. And Flutter getting the duplicate off, eventually taken out of the Diva form. That's an important takeaway here. See the mines come through from Fate as well. Once again, Lip wants to lead it in with the Death Blossom. Nobody can really push into his face and punish him for using that ultimate. With the mines there to try and defend.
I'm not acknowledging that, Liz.
Pressure being put out. Coalescence again comes through.
I refuse.
Wobble, motherfucker.
Macaulay, thank you for the prime sub.
This one and come back in with the better ults.
Is Overwatch 2 more play dependent rather than press Q to win? 100%. In Overwatch 2, you get ultimates drastically slower and they're inherently a lot less valuable. Because ultimate team fights aren't as won and earned by like, oh, they have 3 ultimates, they just press Q 3 times. The ultimates are more effective, but it doesn't feel like they control the game as much. Dude, Fate, oh my god.
This one's down, but he's going to be respawning pretty quickly, and nobody dealt with Doha, so the damage is...
Alright, Dallas finally get out of spawn, but that was a long fight to get out. Feels like Fate is just getting crazy value on the ball.
Yep.
And now the Dragons, they're going to be set up for another...
Be happy I didn't call Hanzo press. Oh god. Oh no, no, no.
Dragons have a pile drive and bomb that they could go for in the middle of this, but it's only really effective after Dallas have used all of their abilities.
Sound barrier from Dragons. Either way to win out this fight here. The duplicate is used by Sparkle. Lip falling so low. Has to use that ray form. That bomb over the top is going to, again, push him deeper.
Oh, that was not where they wanted that D-bomb to go. Feels bad for Void.
Being used by Fielder just to escape a lot of that damage coming their way, but Fearless falls once more. This
Dude, they just can't punish Fate. Oh yeah, I would say, I think it's time to press Q, Lip. Lip definitely knows when to press. I think Lip's understanding of when to press Q over Doha was way better in this series, especially as it went on. I feel like Doha just like gambles every now and then, while I feel like Lip just waits out the Matrix, right?
Choked up so often.
They certainly are. The more this series goes on as well, the more escort maps, the more hybrid maps end up coming into it. And these are the maps where Dallas Fuel look a little...
What are my concerns with Overwatch 2? I think my biggest concern for Overwatch 2 is that people are going to expect more from it. They're going to expect it to feel like a completely different game when it isn't. It is still Overwatch, and it feels the same way. So it's just like a big old balance patch with finally all this content coming in.
Yep, Coalescence fades eventually. Fielder's just trying to keep his team alive.
But it's fun.
Fate again rolling through them, disrupting Hanbin. Remecking from the high ground here. Now the micro missile's just going to be boosting straight into Lip. Forces out that ray form now to...
Oh, good Diva Bomb. That was such a good Diva Bomb. And he throws the Diva Bomb, turns into the Echo, shoots the stickies on the door they're all going to lead through and just murders them. That was so good by Flair. Chio Rookie of the Year, but proper exists. I think it's very difficult for a main support to win Rookie of the Year. Unless Lucio continues to have crazy impact throughout the entire season, I think main support's kind of hard to win. Oh yeah, Fearless goes to Roadhog, that's when you know it's... This is literally Fearless rage switching to Roadhog like it's a ranked game. Especially against Reaper Echo, like Reaper Echo just fucks on the hog. Like he's just not going to be able to get. And then like Diva's getting consistently copied.
Look at that, that's a great Death Blossom. Fate gets taken out.
You probably left voice too. You hear that like dinging of them like leaving the Discord channel. Boom. Wait, what happened? Should we pause? Feels switches to hog.
Will be surviving, still has the hook available, gonna be reaching to the sky, but not gonna...
Wait, he's just doing nothing.
Yet still, Shanghai holding on, buying time, staving off seconds, 10 seconds remaining, they're winning this team fight. Ultimate's being committed.
Oh, there you go.
Cancelled out of the Coalescence.
Phenomenal book though there to make sure that Fearless couldn't finish the kill, and the Dragons, they've still got an opportunity. Flutter once more.
What is the goal here with the... I think he wants to hook the ball. I think he's like... I think they're struggling... Dallas is struggling to find a counter to Fate. Fate is just like walking around them and they don't know how to stop him. And I think the idea behind the Roadhog is that you can hook him, but I don't... Oh god, Flutter went legs again.
Self-destruct over around around the top. Izayaki will go down. No more heals.
Dude, Fleta.
Is dealing with Fleta. He's on this bridge and he's raining down lead and hellfire from above. Still, Lucio going alive, very, very low, eventually beaten down. Now the beat on top catches on top.
He's not even aiming. He's just shooting into a crowd. Why did he jump down? Why? Someone explain to me why he jumped down. I guess to contest, but this is funny. Wouldn't Cassidy be a... No, Cassidy dies. The reason Cassidy doesn't get played, like... So when you think of like the Reaper, the Echo, the Bull, the Diva, the Lucio, Moira, if you try and play something like Cassidy, you just get run on top of and you just die. Like, it just doesn't really work. Soldier struggles from the same thing, and that's why you very rarely see them enter a fight with Soldier, but obviously Soldier gets back to the fight really fast, and if he goes uncontested, he does a ton of damage. Same with Cassidy, right? But you just wouldn't go uncontested. Like, yeah, what would happen is, like, the Diva would dive at you.
Sparky using all of his cooldowns to try and get a kill there. The seismic slam out of it. Izayaki, he's gone 90% encounter.
The visor.
Doesn't matter. The attack visor gets 2. Sparkle and Hambin are removed from the fight. The mines are still doing the job.
Oh, Doha. Oh my god.
The Death Blossom does all the work, all the business.
Does Soldier's heal haven't been meta? Not really. It's the same thing of like, if he gets dove by a Diva and a Reaper, he just dies. Like, Soldier gets fucked on by Reaper. Like, if the Reaper just TPs on top of you, he generally just wins that 1v1. Especially with the Diva, like, it's just, Soldier's just not as good. And that's why you see Fleta slip out of it. I think Fleta only switches to it when he wants to get back to the fight quickly. Because Soldier is obviously much faster than Echo. And yeah, Soldier's heals, like, health pack is very slow. So for those reasons, like, it doesn't usually save you from if you're getting hard dove, right?
Bit of a bonus stagger kill at the end there. 50 seconds remaining. The stagger kill to Hambin here.
Oh!
Izayaki goes down. They have to kill him now. They have to punish him, but that may have just opened things up. Can the Dallas Fuel...
Yeah, Dallas Fuel can probably go without Hambin.
I think they definitely can. A heal advantage like that with the Moira being down. At least
Classic.
the opening to contest the objective. They can't force a fight because Izayaki's back in the team fight so quickly. But at least
Oh man, Faye just got punched. Like, Sparkle on the Doomfist as well, I just don't like the Doomfist here. I feel like it's too easy to die as the Doomfist. Exactly like that. Like, they're all trying to... It feels like Dallas is... They're scrambling to try and work out what the solution is. But they're just playing heroes that are individually potentially better, but, like, they just don't work in the long run, right? Like...
Somebody will be able to get there, the boot back. Is anyone going to be able to touch?
2 seconds remaining.
They got there. Fearless gets rolled, though.
Meteor strike as well comes through. Lip will fall, but the power driver again is good. Izayaki now with his coalescence. Void is still alive because of it.
Oh, he gets filled with that.
Shanghai,
God, Echo Duplicate is so dumb on the Diva.
Absolutely absurd. The coalescence.
They got the coal out, though.
Dallas want to be taking this fight all the way. That's Doha with the duplicate over now. That's where his coalescence has come from. Absolutely ridiculous in the overtime push here.
Can't believe I'm saying this. Fearless was worse than Jexay. Fearless just started getting hard counted on the Winston, and he just didn't know what to do.
It's just plot armor at this point, Brent. The Dallas Fuel will not be stopped by anything. They are determined to make this a
plot armor.
The main melee finals if it takes every ounce of blood, sweat, and tears.
Primal Rage from Fearless, right at the spawn doors. I've seen this story, it's one as old as time. You can see now the Primal Rage coming off, trying to batter them away, but the mines are already down.
The mines! Dude, Fearless is just getting rolled. Oh wow, Lip comes out. That was a good punch by Sparkle getting Lip. Oh my god. Dude, Sparkle's the only person who can make Doomfist work here. I swear to god, Sparkle's the only person who can make Doomfist look good here.
Dodging, juking the damage, crouching in the midst of it, but the bomb comes through from Void, and it is good. Uppercut to try and at least lock up Fade away from this fight, but I think the Dragons with the superior
chips are lols.
It's just working out in their favor every inch of the way. Sparkle needs to work magic, but as his team is falling around,
Fleta Bastion.
It's not gonna be enough, and the Dragons, the Shanghai Dragons, are gonna be taking us to the distance.
Alright, map 7, baby.
7 maps in this series. Could it go any other way?
Does it go to Junkertown? Oh my god, I forgot this ended on Junkertown. Oh my god, what a shit map to end on. Play pirate ship, you cowards.
They are when you're in map 7. When you're
And Dallas, this is a much better point for Wrecking Ball. This is sort of goes back to what we've talked about so far. Of like, it's so open that Winston just gets picked at more. I think you need to play the Wrecking Ball. No, I don't think Sparkle will play tank. I don't think any DPS players will play Doomfist in the upcoming Overwatch League season. I would be surprised if anyone did it. I think Doomfist plays way too differently to what you guys are expecting. Without the uppercut and the way the seismic slam has changed, the tech is completely different.
To be able to get value out of that pick. It is point A at least is much more suited to the Wrecking Ball. As we go towards point B, that's where the Winston and the Doomfist can be spectacular. Good boot there from Jexa to stop Fate from getting value with.
What is the hot take? In games like Valorant and CS, players who set up their teammates with flashes get credit even if their names don't show up in their kill feed. But in our main sports never seem to get that much respect if they keep their DPS flex supports alive so that they can frag for enable another week. Why not trying to hype up funny Astros in the league? Because it is a lot harder with how fast the game of Overwatch plays to credit players for the setup plays. In Valorant and CSGOs, the big things that is happening and the only things to really talk about are the smokes and those utilities. In Overwatch, so much is happening so fast that it is very hard to hit on those points consistently and effectively. You know, like, it's just a very different game. So I think the best casters do try and sort of highlight that and do try and talk about those big moments, but I think it's just hard. Quack with the 7 months. Lips Reaper hits different, yeah.
Checkpoint A there, 5 minute in the time bank. They really didn't get contested in the slightest. Fearless is finding it so difficult to get the same value that Fate is on the Wrecking Ball. The entire story of Fate picking up this Wrecking Ball to me was because he wasn't.
Is this the map that Jexa kills his own team? Wait, what?
On Winston, and now the tides have turned. As with the momentum.
Down tries to call it out. Yeah, I think people do. Like, it's not like people are like, oh, it's not worth talking about main supports. I think it's just hard. With how much stuff is going on, it's just very hard to give that love.
Dallas just trying to buy a bit of space with it. That's a nice boop though. Sparkle's going to get caught into it and demeched. Has the mech almost immediately. And now Void sending in another self-destruct actually, just to try and get back into the mech there. They're going to put the pressure now onto Fleder. So
dude, there were like 90 bombs in this fight.
Just trying to back up
oh, Jexa boosts the Death Blossom in? Oh yeah, let's see that.
Standing a lot of that damage that's coming their way, and Izzyaki building up that coalescence. Still a slight advantage coming out for Fielder here. Dallas might look to go aggressively with that one. The pile driver especially missing, and now you see it traded out. Izzyaki
Izzyaki gets killed on the coal.
That could be a deal breaker.
A deal breaker. Big team fight win by Dallas.
And the Dallas Fuel are going to be able to maintain control of this corner, of this high.
He had good intentions. We always do. Doesn't mean we didn't mean to. Because I've definitely booped a Death Blossom into my team before. I can't remember what match it was in.
It is really difficult.
I definitely did it in one of the matches.
To get around this corner, you need a huge play. And to me, that means that you're looking for Lip to go for some kind of crazy teleport.
But I definitely did that in an hour match. Oh, that was a good boop.
From Jexa, he is doing so much work for them.
There you go. There's Sideshow highlighting it a little bit. But like, how often do you get a Lucio pop? Wow, great Death Blossom. Dude, Jexa's popping off, dude. Oh, God. Oh, God, Lip. I'm curious how did the team handle that? Like, pushing a Death Blossom? People understand. Like, yeah, it's not your intention. Just a mistake, but it's like, it's the kind of thing that can't keep... You can't keep doing, you know? It's something, shit happens every now and then, as like with anything, but it's about not having consistently.
A brutal area to push through on the attacking side of Junkertown.
Both teams trade out support ultimates. Sparkle there utilizing.
You're just like, my bad, yeah.
So Fleder now.
So you're just like a my bad type of thing.
The difference here. Fate's been trying to get value out of his minefield and deny positioning away from Dallas, but Jexa.
I have a whole hog to Death Blossom.
Star Lucio player that a lot of people are not giving proper credit. Again with the boop. Fate backing away.
Oh, I like those mines. I like those mines a lot.
They have double ball on the field right now.
Split them up, and Lip is so low. The power driver connects.
The Fleder mines. Dude, this is my nightmare. There's 19 mines. That was a lot of ults from Shanghai. How many ults was that? 3? Felt like more.
Jexa falling very low, just could not escape out of it. Power driver though catching onto them. Sparkle dropping out the 1v1 will not happen. As Fate will just take him out in the process now. 1 minute, 45 seconds. Card is going to start moving here. Finally, Shanghai breaking through that hold that Dallas had over them.
And now that Shanghai
no, it's your heaven, Custa. So many delicious mines. Oh, no, no, no.
There are ultimates that they can use, but with the cart this far pushed up, it's unlikely they're going to be able to stop the momentum for very long. Nevertheless, it's a short-term battle. Oh, the difference of two parts.
Oh, Flutter gets beamed out of the air by a fielder. Oh, that was a... Hanmin had his whole defense matrix. That was not a good Death Blossom by Lip.
Yeah, that's going to be the Death Blossom getting absolutely nothing.
I feel like Fielder is getting double the value. Fielder is definitely Moira diffing in this game. Oh my god. That actually almost got Izzyaki.
And Dallas, they stave them off for now. A minute remaining now for Shanghai to try and make this push attempt happen.
I don't expect to see Wrecking Ball. From my tier, my initial tier rankings, Wrecking Ball felt really bad to play in Overwatch 2 from when I played it. I also haven't seen many people playing it in League Scrims.
If he can just take Fate out of the fight, that will try and counter a lot of the value.
I think there's just too much downtime as the only tank on Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, and here's the coalescence come through. Jexa going to be using that sound barrier in response to it now, and again the echo duel that was occurring. Fledder actually ends up.
Oh, good Blossom. Oh,
the difference maker still punished. In the
cleared the mines though.
Void will take him out. South instruct over the top as well. Void putting everybody away from him right now. No one.
Fledder gets the copy here.
The fight that's occurring in close quarters. It's coming out on top here.
Fielder dead. Yeah, that's gonna be it.
Dallas just don't have the damage to try and push them away. The mines.
Lip diff.
Doing too much here as well, as they're already.
It's a lot of ults by Shanghai though.
So it will be the push.
So once again, but Dallas actually used all their ults as well. When did Jexa use B?
It's a good defense by Dallas overall. You were expecting this meta, most people to push at least halfway through checkpoint C. So the fact that Dallas have managed to limit Dragons to only a minute and a half on the clock here, that is positive looks for them. The question is whether or not they're going to be able to stop them here. Fielder with another coalescence.
We beat early? Yeah, interesting.
Lip already on an off angle, looking to try and just stop Sparkle from following up on anything that Fielder is doing. Yeah, Lip is
wow, that is a good call. I feel like that's too early though. I feel like Dallas, like, look at how far back Shanghai are. When did they pop the coal? Oh, good beat engage. I actually really like that. That allows them to just get in Dallas's face.
A lot of health for them. It gives them again a great advantage. Doha could not escape. Sparkle getting that mega health.
Lip
using that.
Chill.
Aggressively to try and chase down Sparkle, but a disengage now from Dallas.
The teleport from Lip.
Yeah,
oh, Lip, that was pretty bad.
He had no rate. The coalescence might be to try and save him there, but it's faded anyway. Fielder.
Good beat by Jexa, perfect timing. Oh, I do not like that coal though. I feel like that was stacking too many ults. It ended up being fine, but like he would get more value if he cold like now. You know what I mean?
Actually Sparkle building up that coalescence.
Like they use both support ults? Oh wait, that was Sparkle's call. Okay, no. My bad. Dude, that's so confusing. My brain.
Lip went on previously. He's got the opportunity to go for another, and why not? Flutter falls though. It really does all come down to Lip. If they're going to be able to do anything, it's got to come off the back of this Death Blossom. It finds nothing, and Fate is the only one desperately attempting to keep this objective alive.
The power driver's good off onto the side.
Yeah, okay, they should hold it.
The kill feed is being lit up right now.
They should hold here.
Over the top, Sparkle goes down, but the mines are still on the point, causing problems here. Handman cannot be removed from this side angle, and he's got the mega health.
Yeah. We're good.
Moving over to the legs,
I got a little dicey there at the end.
In the end, 2 points, 69 meters and 37.
Woo!
I should say, is what the Dragons were able to get in the end.
Gosh, anyone scores at that league points enough. That's
here we go.
The Dallas Fuel know what they have to be. Now it's
2 out of 10 needs more Diva Bombs. Absolutely. If your takeaway from this is needs more Diva Bombs, I can't help you.
Over and over again as the series has progressed now, but Fearless making these adaptations. Now the Dragons on the defense. They know exactly where they have to stop this cart right before that objective. They managed to get earlier. Sparkle.
Yeah, the grand finals were pretty disappointing in 2021. The reality is just like Atlanta was never really going to beat Shanghai. Maybe like Dallas could have had a chance or Glads could have had a chance, but like I think we all knew that the way that Atlanta played wasn't going to work as well against Shanghai. So they both had their shot, yeah. So like I don't think anyone would have beaten them, but yeah.
To try and stop them from pressing into them now, but Lee J gone with this sound barrier as well. Double support ultimates to try and win out this team fight in a minute.
That's a pretty solid spawn camp right, Dallas.
Shanghai not giving up just yet, but disengaging away as Void needs to get back into the mech.
They need to continue fighting over
Atlanta was a little over their heads. Hey, they were really good in the playoffs. Their brawl style was like sick. No one knew how to beat it.
Fighting and lose this team fight with grace, with honor, so that you can come back and take another, and so that you force the ultimates out of the Dallas Fuel. This is all still good for Shanghai Dragons.
Yeah, this is really good for Shanghai.
Double support ultimates out of Dallas. And another interesting
That's a lot of
Sparkle gets a double kill to clean things up. Another interesting trend is that as Fearless has gone over to Wrecking Ball,
MYXL would have beaten Dragons 100%. Ah, yeah. Maybe you're right. Maybe MYXL with a cheat code.
made a big difference for the series. It stopped Dallas being able to win these early neutral engagements and start a snowball going.
And Com pretty much. I believe Moon said Glads were their biggest competition. Yeah, I've heard that as well. I think Glads will, like, obviously we saw Dallas lose to Shanghai, so we can't say Dallas would have had it. It would have been really interesting to see Glads play against Shanghai. I think that would have been the most interesting match we could have gotten. I don't think Glads would have won, but I think maybe they would have gotten a few maps. Maybe.
Witnessing it firsthand over the course of this entire tournament. Ziyaki using this coalescence, but it looks like nobody is.
Who did Glads lost to Atlanta, right? Who did Glads lose to? Because he had to lose twice in the playoffs. Who did they lose to? They lost to Atlanta and
push and pull coming through. So much damage to the adaptive shields from Fearless. Just
Dallas?
alive, and Fearless will get that kill onto Fleta with the mines in the end.
Oh, they played Dragons and Atlanta. Ah, so they got knocked down to the lower bracket from Shanghai. How close was that match again? It was like, I don't want to say like 3-1, yeah.
Nevertheless, for the Dallas Fuel.
Even though Fearless is having to make this adaptation and move over to the ball, a hero that he really doesn't play very often.
Like maybe if Glads like popped off,
That they still on the fly are coming up with
they could have got it,
the power
but
drive into the self-destruct. Obviously, quite a normal set play.
Atlanta knocked out every NA team. That's because the NA teams just don't know how to beat the brawl, right? And Atlanta was the best of the brawl.
See Death Blossom coming through. Spark
Dude, Dallas are popping all ults to try and hold this right here.
big here in this final point to try and clear them away so they can capitalize.
Dude, this is fine. Even if Shanghai loses, that's fine. That was a lot of ultimates from Dallas.
Fate just trying to contest, just trying to hide away from it.
That's pretty good for a late contest.
A good team fight win here for Dallas, and they're going to be regaining.
Why did the egg analysts leave? Him and Brendan, they've been doing really well at Valorant. I think they just wanted to go to Valorant. They're doing really well. They casted the semifinals in the most recent Valorant major. So
arguably the entire map to drain the time back from the attackers.
they've been popping off.
They don't have control of it. They're gonna have to win a team fight just to get.
Guys beat the brawl several times. The match, it just came down to the big plays. Yeah.
So we can get in position to use that coalescence into the power driver, into the mines. Sparkle is deleted.
Atlanta looks good with scrimbacks. Atlanta just looks like a really solid team.
Force just going to be finding way up onto the high ground here. Dallas
Oh, Fate can't die. Oh, he's gonna die.
And they've taken him out.
It's not great.
What a lovely boot by Jexa. He's been so good.
It does, yeah, and that's it. Like, you can't have it both ways, right? Like, obviously, it sucks that we lost the Bren show, but it's awesome to be able to see so much contenders talent get promoted, right? We got Leg Day and Lemon Kiwi, we got Necra, we got Trid. So it's awesome to see some contenders talent, especially people that have been like putting in a lot of work, especially over these last hard like 2 to 3 years of Overwatch League, like of Overwatch contenders. Like, they've really been carrying the show over at contenders, and they've been going through the hard times. So it's awesome for them to be able to get a shot in the league.
Shanghai have done a phenomenal job, not just at getting back in this series, but at getting back into this defense as well.
They're also considered a top 3 cast. Yeah, like I don't think anyone doubts Brincho's ability to cast. They're very good in the industry. They're popping off, and I'm sure they'll be around. Like, they're gonna be around in Overwatch. They still have plat chat. I wouldn't be surprised to see them do individual events in downtime of Valorant, like for Overwatch. So they're not gone forever. Oh, Jexe. That was a little too aggressive for my boy Jexe right there.
Push them away, but the damage is done. The Shanghai Dragons, off the back of that coalescence, kept them all healthy. All that damage as well, piercing through them once again.
Town, I think it's a really good and it's healthy thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Sparkle does have the duplicate. Lee J gone though. The sound barrier to try and offset that.
It's insane. The momentum in this map has already flipped on its head. The Shanghai Dragons are looking great here at being able to pull off a ridiculously long hold. They have a coalescence with which to fight the Dallas Fuel and Sparkle moving over to the deep.
Aye. There's a copy, there's a call.
Absolutely. Sparkle now just trying
2 divas, good luck getting a Death Blossom off lip. That's honestly one of the hardest things about getting a Death Blossom in, is that there's always like 3 divas on the field at all times. Like, how do you get a Death Blossom off when you get... Dude, like, how many Death Blossoms happen? Sorry, let's look at the diva bombs.
But Shanghai, they're fighting for every inch.
Absolutely.
There's a Death Blossom with 2 divas, 1 diva bomb.
Straight up into the sky. Void so close to being demeched. Just whittling away his health, but he boosts.
How is he alive?
99%.
2 diva bombs, 3 diva bombs.
Over the top, and now he's healthy.
It's like, there were literally fights where we have 4 diva bombs.
Inside for him. And the Dallas Fuel are toppling.
Only 4 diva bombs. Tragic.
Into the back here, Doha is still available, but
Dude, Flutter is just cleaning up. Dallas just can't match this Wrecking Ball comp. They're just not as good at it.
The Dallas Fuel, everybody's favorites for the June Joust coming in. They were up 3-1 in this match as well. They are losing control of this series. They are losing control of Junkertown. This could be the final fight. And what are they coming in with? Barely.
There was one during the 20 with 6. Yeah, I remember that one. It was on Anubis, right?
Immediately. Fake it's dangerous at all, but Brent, this could be it. Coalescence comes through. Fearless.
Ooh, Fearless down before it begins. Sparkle and Doha, though.
Just trying to find a way, any sort of light in the darkness here for the Dallas Fuel, and that Death Blossom could be the answer, but Lip answers back with one of his own. Duplicate comes through, gives him a bit of invulnerability.
That was a lot of ults by Dallas, though. Just by using that Death Blossom by Lip, that forced Cole and their own Death Blossom.
To try and win out this team fight in the overtime. It seems like slowly they
Shanghai needs to give this fight up, though.
You never know, Lee Jae going down.
They're just giving away too much ult charge. Like, Dragons have how many ults? 3, probably 4 ults with Flutter copy. Whenever a team has to play them, as soon as the team has to change their own strategy to play the strategy the other team is playing, you're at a disadvantage. As soon as you have to copy a meta, you're in trouble, right?
They need to be in position. Maybe another pile drive and a bomb. They have Jex's ultimate to be able to rely on for a little bit of sustain. Shanghai only get 1 more team fight in checkpoint B. If they could find another kill on Fate, that would also be enormous. Or maybe even Flutter before.
Hard beat engage. I don't know if I like how hard that beat engage was. I think they over-expected where Dallas was going to be. Slam into Diva Bomb was good. Oh, the bomb was too high, actually.
And now the fight is taking place within the buildings. A lot of damage taking place there. Fearless having to use the adaptive shields to stay alive. Coalescence on top.
Oh, Doha. Lip needs to live. Look at Lip's health. Oh my god. Dude, okay, we're going back here. Look at this. Look at Lip's health. Look at Lip's health for this. Look at Lip's health. Where is he? Here's Lip. Here's Lip. He's 1 health. He gets the 1. Death Blossom. 1 health. Finally gets the Wraith off. That bomb is so big.
Pushing them away. Dallas on the brink of destruction here, but the bomb from Sparkle is good.
Dude, this fight is actual chaos.
It is chaos. It is pandemonium, but they are persevering.
Dude, Lip.
Trying to put an end to it. 3 kills for Lip. Are you kidding me? Forcing the fade away as well. Lee Jae coming back in now with the sound barrier. Just needs to clear off this point. The mines from Fearless.
The mines are so big by Fearless.
To try and do it, but the Shanghai Dragons are holding strong now. Only a couple of players left standing, and it's not enough.
And Lip kills like 7 at the end of that as well. Think about it. Lip kills 7. If he dies there, it's over.
Denying the second tournament win here for Dallas.
We're absolutely living. I don't think Shanghai would have lost regardless of even if they lost that team fight, but yeah.
Finalists of the May Melee, champions of the June Joust, and Fate claims his title.
Dallas so sad.
Getting support
feels bad, man. Feels bad. But with that, that ends the history of Overwatch for this one. Remember, we only have 1 history of Overwatch left. We got the Countdown Cup. I believe it is... Who's that match between? It's the Gladiators versus... Dallas? Who's in that, actually? In the Countdown Cup? Hunters? Chengdu Hunters. Couldn't even remember. That's going to be our next match. Chengdu versus the Gladiators. It's actually a banger of a match. Gladiators finally getting something, getting something done in their, 4-year stint in the league. But yeah, quick reminder that if you're watching this video as of right now, and it's not the April 27th yet, there are drops happening on my Twitch channel and a lot of other Twitch channels on April 27th. Make sure to check that out. We got 1 more history of Overwatch to go before the Overwatch League season of 2022 starts up. We closed the book on Overwatch 1 and we open it up for Overwatch 2. So almost done. I love you all. I hope you guys have been enjoying the series. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff coming up this year. Much love, and I'll see you guys next time.